On the back of a very successful last few weeks for the Michigan Wolverines, it's time for Calvin Russell, The Decision watch party here on the Voice of College Football. My name's John Diadamo. I'm going to be taking you through this, and we are simulcast on a lot of places right now. On the Michigan channel of Voice of College Football, Florida State, Oregon, Michigan Twitch, Michigan X, and don't forget to catch us on audio all the time. Folks, hit that like button as you join. The Bull, the best possible opening super chat right here. And the Bull just took us to $98 to go for a second hour. There we go. Let's have it. So let's go real quick to some folks here. We got a lot of people in the chat already. We have almost 500 people watching across every single platform. P Money saying this is the best Michigan show out there. Thank you for that. I think there's a lot of great Michigan shows out there. We do our best to provide what we can for you guys. But thank you for that. Marmar with the Queen Jolene. Yes, this would definitely be a Queen Jolene special if it happened. Let's see who else we got. Let us know in the chat, where do you think Calvin Russell's going? We do have Florida State people. We have a Go Noles right here. We've got a Go Blue. Dave says he doesn't know, and neither do I. I'm okay when I don't know something, I admit it on air. And I don't know. He might go. I feel like it's 55-45 Michigan with a Syracuse possibility sneaking in there. I'm going to break down exactly why he would go to each one. We got Justin with a Go Blue. We got Maze fan. We got the Bull. We got, as TJ calls him, B-Dub in the house. Here we go. Before we get to some of the topics I have prepped, Bull has this question. Some people are talking, and I feel like you're moving the goal. I feel like people are just clowning me on this at this point. Like, I don't even think it's serious. Let me be very clear. If Calvin Russell commits, I will apologize to absolutely nobody. That's right, folks. I apologize to nobody. Why? Because I never said anything about recruiting. Brady Hoke could recruit. Brady Hoke recruited great. At least for the first year or two, he was recruiting some very high classes. Brady Hoke did a great job recruiting. It's not just that, right? It's on the field performance. And I know Bull's just taking the piss right now, as they say in London, taking the piss. But like people are saying it for real, and it's hilarious because people are saying I have like a vendetta against Ron Bellamy. I do not. Let's go ahead and put up the ticker here because we are now $93 from the second hour of the show already. We've already got 2 super chats in. For those of you who are watching on the Florida State, the Oregon channels, here's the thing. When we get to $100 in super chats, super stickers, memberships, gifted memberships, we go a second hour. That's right, folks. A second hour of the show. And we'll keep doing that. I may cap it, but we're going to hopefully have people call in. The call-in line is in the description. But I'm going to put it here too. And actually, I lied. Let me make sure it goes to everywhere. Colby, I'm actually gonna put up the stream because yes, Moose, I am. I have it. I have Instagram up. Once he goes live, I'll have that going. But I do want to play his huddle tape real quick, if that's all right with everybody. Before we do that, I do want to just recap the other good news today that Dorian Barney, 4-star cornerback out of Georgia, Dorian Barney has committed to the University of Michigan. Unfortunately, there's some flip side to that. Brody Jennings flipping to Miami. Thoughts and prayers go out to the Jennings family. His he just had a death in the family. I believe it was his father or grandfather. But my thoughts are out to the Jennings family, and I understand that he wants to stay close to home. And we got Barney. So Barney and friends in the house. Jackson Johnson pointing to the TJ Ronin video on this. So very exciting stuff there. Okay. So with that said, let's go ahead and look and break down the Calvin Russell of it all. So Calvin Russell is 6'5". He's 195 pounds. He is the 247 Sports Composite #5 wide receiver in this 2026 class. Last year, he went for 39 pass completions, 704 yards, 13 touchdowns, and let's not forget 2 rushing touchdowns. That's right, folks. Also coached by Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater. Which I thought was a fun fact. Teddy Bridgewater's a coach now, and they went and they won a championship. So very exciting that has happened. Let's go ahead and go to his tape. So here he is, and remember, this kid has a 6'10" wingspan. Here we go. First throw here. Look at that separation. Remember how I said I've kind of criticized the wide receivers in the past for lack of separation? There's some separation right there. He's able to run the ball with great speed. He's a dual sport athlete, folks. He is a dual sport athlete. He's playing football. He also wants to play basketball. Dusty May has been building a relationship with him since the 9th grade. So this is what's happening here. And there's that, just able to get that little bit of get off to make that completion happen there. But this is the type of player that Michigan can expect. And you see, this is why I wanted to go live a little early, because I wanted to play his full huddle tape, to really break it down before we get to the Instagram live that Russell will have up there. And here we go with a really great opportunity there. This is the type of player that Michigan needs. And with some of the other wide receivers who have committed, like Travis Johnson, who just committed the other day, these two could be a dynamic duo among the likes of which Michigan hasn't seen in maybe 30 years. So there he is here. Again, he's used a lot in the Z position, which is the position to the left of the line of scrimmage. And I think he does a really great job in the Z position. He was actually a quarterback, a running quarterback for the first 2 years. So his athleticism has been utilized in so many different ways. Moose says, do you know who he reminds me of, John? I'm going to say it, Calvin Johnson. So very exciting there. All right. I see we already have a call queue lined up, and we have a call here coming up from Christopher. So before we get to the Instagram live, let's take Christopher's call for a couple of minutes here and see what Christopher has to say about this. Really exciting.
Man, I'm just hoping that he goes blue all day. This would be a great gift for us.
Listen, it's really coming down to that wire. I mean, Michigan seems like it has the edge, but Syracuse has come out, and credit to them, and credit to Fran Brown for pushing this hard to make this such a battle right at the end. Syracuse is not, normally a school you think of. It's like competing against the likes of Michigan, but he's made it a real battle, and it's really coming down to the wire. But yeah, I think a lot of us here hope he chooses Michigan. What's your like? If you had to predict it, it's coming in 10 minutes. But what do you think?
And if I had to predict, I say Michigan edges them out. I mean, how can you beat a school with great academics? Basketball team is going to be lit this year. Football team, hopefully with Bryce Underwood as our quarterback, is going to be lit this year. You know, you get the best of both worlds with basketball and football. They're one of the few universities in America that can offer you the best in basketball and football, and Syracuse really doesn't offer you that. So I'm just hoping that, you know, that's what he goes with, a school, a university that offers you the best opportunity to come in and possibly compete for a national championship in football and in basketball.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And, you know, I've laid out the case for Syracuse just to play devil's advocate, because that's an opportunity where he could start at both football and basketball. It might be a little harder for him to start right away in both sports at Michigan. And that's like the one thing where I'm thinking, okay, you know, if they promise him a starting role at both sports in Syracuse, combine that with the coach, you know, the relationship Fran Brown had, the relationship that he has with some of the players. You know, that's what gives me pause here. I'm at like 55-45 Michigan. I think I'm with you, because I just think that he does have the best opportunity to win a natty, and maybe win a natty in both sports, because Sharon Moore and Dusty May, right? Dusty May is positioning that team for a national championship. Also, he took what was it, FAU to the Final Four.
Yeah,
that's wild stuff, right? Yeah. That's just coaching talent right there. So,
and he killed it on the recruiting side. You know, this upcoming season, you know, with having the #1 transfer portal team in the U.S. You know what I'm saying? So I'm very excited about Dusty May and what the basketball team can do, and just excited for Sharon Moore and the football team. I mean, he's killing. I haven't seen anything like this in Michigan in a very long time, the way they're just coming in and knocking out the recruits they did in June, and then continuing going into July. So
yeah, absolutely. Let's ask the chat here. I want everybody to put their nuts on the table. Final prediction: is Calvin Russell going to choose Michigan, Syracuse, or another school? Colby, I'm not going to put that on air. I think I know what you're. But we do thank you for the $1.99. We're going to let that one go. So I appreciate that. All right, Christopher, we do have another caller, so I'm just going to go ahead and take that real quick. Any final thoughts for us before we?
All I gotta say is great to be a Michigan Wolverine, and go blue.
Go blue, Christopher, and feel free to call back later. Just want to make sure we get to this Instagram live here in a few minutes.
Yes, sir.
All right. Enjoy. All right. 2,000 viewers right now. Make sure to hit the like button all over, whichever channel you're on. Hit that like button. It looks like we have actually a lot on X. So thank you to all those on X who are watching. No, you didn't miss it, Jason. The commitment is at 9 p.m. Eastern. 9 p.m. Eastern. Let's go, Justine. If you want to be brought up, I need to see your camera. Just because I haven't seen you before, and we have had some prank calls coming on. Moose, here we go, buddy.
What's going on, John?
It's going good, man. A lot of people want to watch this commit. We've got 2,285 people watching this right now. Holy crap! People want to see where Russell's going to go.
Yeah, I'm stoked right now, man. I got really good feeling about Russell. Like I was telling you guys earlier, if my source told me he's been a silent for over a week. So, like I said, if my source is wrong about this, I will come back and apologize to everyone. But I feel really good about his commitment right now.
Absolutely. There's some questions about where's TJ. TJ has a birthday party, so he is going to try to call in. But I said I would take the mail here and bring us home. But yeah, TJ is he's gonna try to call in when he can. But yeah, no, this is the first commitment where we haven't like definitively known for sure what's going on, right? Like
He's been
could go either way.
really silent about it. Yeah, he's been silent about it for sure.
For sure. Okay, we got Bull who wants to come up with you. So let's go ahead, and especially because we're going to have the Instagram live in a few minutes here.
Yeah, let's go.
Bull, how about this will he or won't he situation here?
Hey, shout out. Hey, I'm Bull. This is Moose. Okay. 2 peas in the pod. Okay. I may be Moose's hype man sometimes because Moose be out here in the trenches, man, doing the work. So I appreciate Moose, man. Everyone shout out Moose. Okay. He be behind the scenes here for, Michigan Boys College football, as well as many others, man, talking to recruits, trying to get some interviews, all that stuff. So
I
just want to
appreciate
shout
you,
out
Bull.
No problem, Moose. No problem. Go blue, man.
Yeah, and
What you drinking, Bull?
Tequila and tea, man.
That's what's
Yeah.
up.
Hey,
It blends well.
It's time to party, man. Because it's
That's right.
I'm telling you,
I
I feel
mean,
really
got the
good
same
about
info
this,
you
bro.
got, so we feel good about Russell, man, and basketball. I mean, especially that Sam Webb piece came out, man, about him in 9th grade being recruited by Dusty. That's real good.
Yeah,
That's real good.
when I heard about Dusty, when I heard Dusty's been recruiting him since he was a freshman, that just made it even more, give me more confidence.
Yeah. I mean, he just and like Christopher, who was our last caller, who might have been a first time call, or at least first time call for me. So thank you for him for being a first time caller. But he was bringing up, hey, Syracuse, you can play both sports and probably do okay, but Michigan, you could win a natty in both sports. Maybe one of the first athletes. I don't know how many others, but winning a national championship in 2 different sports would be really something else.
Yeah, man. Like, I just don't. I know that people are saying that Syracuse is going neck. I don't see it though, man. They're saying they're going neck and neck to Michigan. I just don't see that because Michigan is a school where Michigan is elite in basketball and football now. I mean, with Dusty May here, they're pretty. Michigan's going to be elite in basketball probably this year. So I just don't. I don't see the threat with Syracuse. I don't understand it. Unless they throw a big bag, like a really big bag. I don't know.
Yep. Hey, Texas Tech, man. Right? You never know sometimes.
Yeah.
You never know generational money.
Yeah, so Fran Brown apparently has been doing a really good job with the relationship building with the Russells. And a couple of things that we need to remember, like Syracuse does not have a very high class, and they could put a decent chunk of their NIL money towards this guy. Whereas Michigan, even though we have significantly more NIL money, like one of the top stashes, thanks to the Ellisons, right? Shout out to the Ellisons and Jolene Ellison for stepping up here. But at the end of the day, like Syracuse can funnel a lot of money to this guy. So that's something. He can maybe be a starter in both sports there. Whereas Michigan, he's gonna have to fight for it a little bit more. Like he's gonna have to fight against Travis Johnson. He's gonna have to fight against Andrew Marsh and Channing Goodwin and the people that will still be around in 26.
I honestly think that Oregon. I'm more worried about Oregon than I am Syracuse.
Yeah,
because they have the money. They have the money, and they got the elite football, and they're pretty good at basketball too. I mean, they're probably not as good as Michigan, but they're still pretty good.
Luke Spalding with the $5. Is he ranked in basketball? I think he's all blue. Keep up the good work, John and TJ. Thanks so much, and we'll pass that on to TJ. I don't. So is he ranked in basketball? I am not sure. I know his football ranking. And I know he plays basketball.
I feel like he should be if Dusty was recruiting him at FAU his freshman year. So.
Can we go to? We can't go to his live now because it's not. I don't see it up yet. If someone has the link,
all these
but
recruits, man, been wild today. I don't know if you got. I mean, it was. If you guys saw the Barney recruit,
I
commitment
know.
ceremony, that was hilarious, dude. I don't
Yeah, it
know.
was.
I don't know how you hijack a known broadcast like that. I don't know how you hijack that, but it looked like he hijacked it, and then he was like, "I'm dipping," and then his family recorded everything after the fact. It
He was
was
like,
funny.
"Screw you guys! I'm doing my own
But
thing."
what was fun? So it was funny that all you saw in Barney's commencement video of him, admitting to us, was beige siding, which okay, fire, I guess, needs gutters, all right. But then someone showed the video of what he actually did. He actually raised his garage doors automatically up, and boom, it was a big old committed go blue, maize and blue balloons, bro. It was awesome.
I'm gonna lie, that was pretty dope, man, what he did. That's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
it was.
That is. We just got a comment from Mark Rogers, voice of college football, the owner of all of this, and love the 1,300. Mark, it's not just 13. There's about 3,500 people watching my Twitter right now.
Oh
So
wow!
yeah.
On Twitter.
So
You
yeah,
say go blue.
Wow, that's crazy.
we're
Yeah.
broadcast. Go blue. Absolutely. Let's see
go.
here. John, you showing the commitment. I am trying to refresh his Instagram. It's still not live.
Yeah,
If
you never know.
somebody
Yeah.
sees
These
it, then
commitment videos, man, you never know. Heck, Travis was 30 minutes after the fact. It said 12 o'clock. He didn't commit till. The stream was up at like 12:05. Then commit at 12:30. So it take time.
yeah, Colby, John, I know it's Harry. As in like the possibilities of getting him. I mean, it's an interesting thing because with Travis Johnson committing, I don't know if that changes the dynamic. If this guy is a dog and he wants to work, then he'd probably welcome the challenge.
Yeah, I think Travis Johnson is the most polished wide receiver we got because I think he's the more ready one because he runs routes really, really good.
He does.
He's got quickness. He's got really good hands. I think that Calvin Russell has the highest ceiling out of any other receiver.
He
If we can
does.
get him.
Yeah, the only thing I see
with
with Russell, I agree with that, Moose, is he has speed, he has size. It's just he's always played both sports. So that's a lot of work to be done in the off season during the summer to work on. So if he committed to one, you could see him, the sky's the limit. It looks like he wants to really play both. So you just have to sometimes take the athleticism, coach him when you can, and I think even his 7-on-7 coach had said that his body control and stuff he does at his size is just astonishing to him. Like just squaring up hips to catching balls that almost seem uncatchable. He does a very good job of doing that at his size and speed.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, Russell. I was looking it up. 6'10" wingspan. He's got a big wingspan. He's also got the separation that Michigan desperately needs. Right? You need players who can do that, who can go and get the ball. We just haven't been seeing that the last few years with overall.
Yeah, that's why I said he reminds me of Calvin Johnson because of the separation he gets from from defenders, and how he can get really up and high with the ball and get the ball. That's unfair. What is he? He's 6'5.5". He's almost 6'6".
Yeah,
it's just crazy for a kid his age to be that tall.
Yeah, 6 foot. That's what we need though. Like higher height wide receivers.
Right. He's a mismatch to anybody he goes up against, basically.
Hey, as of right now, man, not many people on Michigan's roster are over 6 foot or 6'1". So very few, right? That we recruited. What we recruited has been fairly short. What we brought in through transfer portal is a little different, but
Well,
we're trying.
both
Folks,
the
I
kids
have
say we
a
don't.
sorry
We
guys,
don't
I
have
have a
tall.
quick update from Steve Wiltfong. He's running a little late. 9:15 apparently is the new time. I guess last second phone calls trying to probably secure this. Sorry, Moose, I interrupted you, but I just wanted to make sure people
Oh
knew
no,
that.
you're fine, Joe. But I was just saying that they can't say that Michigan's got short wide receivers anymore. We get Russell, he's almost 6'6". We got McCauley, he's 6'5". We got Browner, who's 6'4". We got Johnson 6'3". I mean, we got big body receivers everywhere now.
Mm-hmm. That's right. It's huge. I don't know if you guys saw the which I did because I didn't have much time today, but the on the Ohio State Voice of College Football they did the NCAA football reenactment. The game coming up this year with Bryce Underwood. We won by 12 points, so that was great.
Okay. Yeah.
The simulation game, that was awesome.
Hey, yeah, the simulations have been a little. The Northwestern win was that we had on the other day was kind of wild stuff. We have a celebrity super chatting us right now. Jalen Hurts is here. $1.99. He puts on weight. He's the next Nico Collins. Yeah, I mean he's got a couple of comps. Another comp is T. Higgins.
Yep.
Is another player that kind of is a good comp. But yeah, I agree with you, Jalen. Thank you for that. I'm not putting Griffins up, but thank you for the $1.99. Anything that's inappropriate, with 10,000 people, I'm not putting it on. So, because I don't know how many kids are watching.
The video, people. Like the video, subscribe, man. The best Michigan football show out there, man. TJ and John do a great exceptional job with everything that's going on, man. With insider info, let us know, keeping us up to date, everything in the now. So if you guys feel like you're missing out on something, Moose gives them a lot of information as well here. So Moose is a big, huge contact here that gives info to John and TJ, and they kill it, man. So if you want to be in the know, you want to be up to date with everything, subscribe, like the video, guys, because you won't regret it, especially on Twitter, all the socials, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, bro. I tell John and TJ all the time. This is the best show on YouTube, man. The best Michigan channel, hands down.
Yeah, and to put even more over the top, some channels may have more people. I'm not going to tell them, but there are other people out there with more subscribers and stuff. But they don't put out as much content as these guys. They go twice a week, okay? Sometimes more depending on commitments and things like that, okay? Giving us in-depth information on recruits and stuff. So you guys are missing out if you guys aren't subscribed or even putting the notification bell on at least. You guys at least do that to be in,
Thank you so much. That really means a lot.
No problem.
And I say all the time, like, people don't realize how much work John and TJ put in behind the scenes too, because they're not just doing the Michigan channel; they're helping Mark out with other stuff too. So, I mean, they're putting a lot of hard work in, man. They don't realize these guys work so hard on stuff, man. We appreciate everything you guys do.
Thank you. Yeah, we've been doing these watch parties for. I even did one for Turntine, even though I knew Turntine was going to Texas. I still showed up to pay him back because he did the Malachi Lee one. I had to do this one. Folks, we are simulcasting right now on not just the Michigan channel, but the Florida State channel, the Oregon channel, the Twitch account, the X account. 12,000 people, a lot of them on X, which is wild stuff. We've got a lot of people watching on X right now. We've got Alex Bird watching on X. This is the most I've seen watching on X.
Hey, shout out to Kioki, bro. What's up, brother? I appreciate that.
Yeah, Kioki. Hey, we got Alistair
Kioki.
Vallejo's father up here sometimes. So, hey, fathers of recruits and players, be watching.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. I'm going to take one more call, I think, before we put up the live here. So any final thoughts here? And then I'm going to bring people back up later, but just since we're getting close to the commit, let's go Moose first.
I'm just waiting for Calvin to say Michigan, man, because I feel really good about this tonight. So, hey, whatever happens, we had a shot either way. But I feel really good about this, John. So I think we're gonna get them tonight.
That would be incredible. Go Blue Moose, and like I said, come back around and we'll bring you back up later. Okay.
No problem.
All right. Bull. What about yourself?
Final thought, man. I am pumped, dude, to see, as well as my son Kendrick here. We are excited to see Bryce Underwood toss these deep balls, man, to this tall wide receiver of Russell, man. It's going to be great. And, Bubby, what do you want to say? Say go blue. Say go blue.
Go blue.
Go blue, guys.
Go
Let's
blue.
Go.
All right. We'll see you in a bit.
All right.
Yeah, people who called in are welcome to call back in later. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna prioritize the Michigan fans here, and any other school that's in this commitment. So Jackson, will get to you later. But Thunder Redmond Tim is in the house. The last
What's
call
up?
before we get to the commitment announcement. Where do you think he's going, Tim?
The reason that I think he going to Michigan because we know about what the wide receiver and Chip Lindsey and Sharon Moore is doing. Okay, the basketball coach Dusty May, he been staying in contact with Kelvin Russell before he won a national title. And I forgot the name of that college, but it was somewhere in Florida. He took them to the Final Four, and they went undefeated in the March Madness tournament, and he probably was about 13 or 14 at the time. Calvin Russell.
Yeah, Calvin Russell has been heavily recruited by Michigan in both sports, and Dusty May really leading that charge, having that long-time relationship. I want to get your thoughts on Mackenzie's super chat here. I can't wait for the Buckeye tears if he commits to Michigan. Think Michigan ends with a better class than Ohio State. If so, more wins and natty soon. Do you think Michigan could wind up with a better class than Ohio State in 2026?
They need to get Calvin and Hyder.
Yeah, they definitely do.
And okay, to maintain it, they're gonna need to flip some players.
Yeah, for
sure. I
sure.
had heard some word that they still trying to go after the 5-star tackle that Bryce wanted to play with. He came in and took a visit that might have been March or April, but they wasn't ready to give out numbers yet. So that's why he went to the Hurricane. There's rumors that when they get done with these 2 5-star, they're gonna try their hardest to bring them to a football game and convince them to flip, but that's just rumors from Juju.
Sure.
But
yeah, well, Juju knows a thing. I mean, he knows a thing or two about this stuff. I will say that he's good at this. Ben, this is a good one also to ask you. So any concerns that a young coaching staff will have a hard time handling all these blue chips? Ben, you know that Soup Campbell is helping out with the wide receivers. Soup Campbell, who was the wide receivers coach from 1995 to 2007. So young coaching staff, I don't think so. But I get what you're saying overall. But I actually think that any issues with them being young are counteracted by the fact that Sharon Moore is a damn good recruiter. He's a charismatic guy. He relates to the players a lot. And look, I love Jim Harbaugh. Tim, you know I love me some Jim Harbaugh. I got him on my wall, okay? But let's be real. Sharon Moore relates better to most recruits than Jim Harbaugh.
In 21, Lamar Morgan, he was the cornerback and safety coach, I think, but he wasn't the main coach. He was the assistant, and I forgot the other guy first name, but his last name was. But what I was saying, he did so good the 21 the season. I think he went to the NFL that next season. Lamar Morgan, he took over, but he became the full safety or cornerback. But he was young, and there was some haters and rumors was talking about but they don't think that he ready to take over. But look what he did with Bill Johnson in the 3 years. We all know that he was he should have been a first round player, but his injury and no team trusted him to be a 5-star. I meant to say a first round player coming out after a season ending injury, but nobody had faith in him to be a first round, but
yeah.
And how do you feel about I know that there's been a few days, but okay, some days I still be thinking about that comment that JJ Smith made. That comment. I think that all of the comments we heard from the JTs and Jack and all those players, I feel like the JJ Smith, his comment, I feel like he took it too far because he begging not to lose. He begging.
Yeah. Promises that as long as he's still with Michigan, it was still with Ohio State. Jeremiah Smith has said he does not want to lose to Michigan again. He will not lose to Michigan again. And let's be honest, JJ McCarthy said a similar thing. Zach Smith talked about that so these things are said, and I get it. Jeremiah Smith, and I'm going to give him his flowers here. He's one of the best wide receivers I've ever seen. The only team that was really able to lock him up was Michigan. When he went to the playoffs, Texas, it was lights out.
In Texas,
yeah, they Texas locked him up. Texas did a better job defensively than a lot of teams did, for sure. Thank you, voice of college football. Who locked them up
better? Who do you think who did a better job?
I mean, I'm biased. I'm going to say Michigan. Just because I think Wink had a game plan that was strong. Remember, Michigan was operating with half a deck. Michigan had a running back and a defense, and was able to bracket and just contain Jeremiah Smith enough to win. And really, Jeremiah Smith did get some action, right? He wasn't completely out of the game, but I think Michigan's defense was one of the best. So yeah,
who going to take over the catchphrase that Donovan Edwards? Ever since his first win, he always say that we're never losing.
Yeah. The Bull says like and subscribe. This channel is in the up-to-date info. Thank you, Bull. Michigan 2-4. This is a big one, Tim. Michigan 2403, $5. Listening to y'all for a long time. Just join the Connor Stallions level. That's our highest level of membership because you guys shoot it straight. Love y'all. Keep it up. And I'm just going to post that too. Michigan 2403 joining the Connor Stallions tier, $9.99 tier of membership. Thank you so much for that. Colby, Colby, you got to do a super chat that's not inappropriate, and then I'll put it up. I appreciate the contributions, but we have, 21,000 views on this. So I can't, I don't know how many kids are watching. Let's just be cool, people.
I started something new on my channel. I started this thing where how most people would call the Michigan the coaches by their name. I started to call them the Smash Mouth fellas. The Smash Mouth fellas.
I love it. The Smash Mouth fellas. Put that up there with my nickname for the offense and what the offense is going to be. Let's see. Still waiting. I promise y'all, the second it says live on Calvin Russell's Instagram, I will be posting it. I promise you.
I ran into some Michigan some Michigan fans today on our way back from vacation, because we was at that Michigan Adventures, but I didn't tell them my channel, but I noticed because they had on some Michigan gear, and I asked them, are y'all a Michigan Wolverine fan? And they told me yeah, okay, yes, but that place was crowded, but I never got a chance to show them a few channels that they could stay up the date with, even my channel, but I had a blast, and everybody's 4th of July was pretty good, but I'm back now, so.
Yeah, so I want everybody to subscribe to Thunder Redmond's Michigan football show. All right, if you haven't yet, Jackson Johnson, who is our Alabama host. So that's right, folks. We got Alabama people in here. We got Ohio State people in here. Florida State. I saw some Go Noles. I saw some Go Ducks. We got Oregon in here. Syracuse. I don't think we have a channel yet for Syracuse, but it's coming. I'm sure.
Alabama calling show Thursday night before we left out of town, but for Friday morning, and me and Dan, we got into a little beef. A beef with Dan.
Well, I hope you sort that out, Tim. I'm actually going to go. I've got some more callers coming up. Do you have a final thought for us before we get to the commitment here?
If he choose the Michigan, we going to know the reason why, because of the basketball.
Yeah. And the possibility of winning a national championship at two different
but we
sports.
we already know that the school that he wants to play football is Michigan, but the basketball part will really tell us, because
sure.
Before I leave, when he went to the Michigan visit, he ran into the Michigan Dusty May. He told him that there's no need to do a in-person the recruiting. With Dusty May staff said you good enough to start right away on basketball.
Yeah, that's the really only thing that I could see Syracuse getting him, is if they say, you are going to start. We promise you a start in football and in basketball. Whereas Michigan may say, hey, you got to compete. I mean, that's been the MO for Michigan all along. All right, Tim.
Well,
I'm gonna
okay.
let
Well,
you
they
go.
said that. Okay, they
But
said that in football, not basketball.
yeah. All right, Tim. Well, we'll see you soon. You can come back up later on once the commitment happens. All right. Go blue.
I will.
All right. Later. Okay, folks, as we wait for the Instagram Live, and I'm looking at a couple of different sources on this to try to see what's happening. This is a delay, and yes, I know it's on Instagram, but I don't see the live yet. So let me know. Let me know what's up if somebody else sees it first. But I'm refreshing like 3 different things right now. Let's go ahead and recap because I did my recap at the beginning of the show on Calvin Russell. So Calvin Russell, right? This is the decision watch party. Calvin Russell, 6'5", about to be 6'6", 6'10" wingspan. He is a number 5 composite wide receiver. In 2024, he had 39 pass completions for 704 yards, 13 passing touchdowns, and 2 rushing touchdowns. And a nice fun fact, he was coached this past year by none other than Teddy Bridgewater. Now watch this guy play, and you're going to see why we're potentially so excited about this here. The first play, separation for days on that first play against that defender, and it just continues. This is a player that played rushing quarterback for 2 years before this past year, where he was utilized as a primary receiving threat. Looks like a lot of Z, but definitely he can be utilized, I think, in the Z and the X. He can be utilized in slot if need be. Here he is in the slot. So here's a slot play. He was able to just get that little bit of quickness. And that's something that the scouts have said too. Like, he's able to get that final bit of quickness to evade his defender and make it happen. Folks, let me check to see if we have anything yet. And we still don't. The live isn't up yet. Let me check the other place I'm looking with some people that I trust. I haven't committed to no one. Calvin Russell tweeting at 9:21 p.m. Eastern. I haven't committed to no one. All right, so that is and I'm saying it word for word just to report the facts here. All right. Is this a Michigan or Oregon channel? Big Orange, we are simulcasting on the Michigan channel, on the Florida State channel at Voice of College Football, the Oregon channel at Voice of College Football, the Michigan X account, the Michigan Twitch account. So a bunch of different places we are broadcasting this at right this second. And let's see if we have, remember, if you have a comment or question, go ahead and super chat and we'll put it on air. If Michigan loses here, how much do you think Q spent on Russell? Just hard for me to imagine Michigan losing to them without a bag being dropped. I think probably 1.5 would be the number I would guess. It would definitely be a 7-figure number, and it would be a big chunk of their NIL. Like, they would be putting a decent chunk of their NIL towards this guy. I also think that promising starting time in both sports would be a reason. Let's go to our next Michigan. So I'm taking priority. If it's a Michigan caller, a Syracuse caller, a Florida State caller, or an Oregon caller, because those are the final 4. So the next person I'm going to take then is Marmar. So let's see here. Hey, Marmar.
What up, though? So what's going on?
What's going on is I don't think anybody knows.
Okay.
The second we have an Instagram Live, I'm going to put it up. We don't yet.
Hey, this is my actual picture. This is how dark I am.
There we go. I got you. I got you. I
No, you
switched
should
it up.
No, you should have left it dark. I was gonna be like that's just me. That's just who I am. Yeah, that was just me.
That's Marmar, folks.
Yeah, that was just me. This is a black yeah, I'm in the war zone too.
Oh
Hmm.
yeah.
Just got a body. Hey,
Okay.
we like 10-2 right now.
Yeah.
Hey, John, you gotta play with us, man. You gotta drop into the war zone with us.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Maybe I will. Are you on Xbox or are you on PlayStation?
No, I'm on PlayStation. The best station out there is Play. You know what I'm saying? We don't do Xbox. You know what I'm saying? The guy that created Xbox wanted to turn doo-doo into water. Nah, we ain't doing that. Yeah, Bill Gates wanted to turn doo-doo into water.
So
So
Marmar, what do you think? What do you think Calvin Russell's going to do here? Do you think he's going to go Michigan or
Bryce
Syracuse?
Underwood. I'm gonna repeat what Russell said. Bryce want playmakers, and I'm a playmaker, and they want me. That's a big statement to me. I don't think it's. I don't mean it don't mean it's gonna come to fruition, but that's a big statement.
Yeah. No, it is, and I do think that Bryce Underwood's the reason he's considering Michigan, at least part of it. I mean, do you think that in previous again, love to Jim Harbaugh, but wide receiver wasn't the strength of the recruiting, and now what are we seeing? We're seeing Soup
We
Campbell
seeing,
coming in as an
yeah,
analyst.
we seeing. That's what I was gonna say. Soup is cooking.
Soup is cook. Yeah, Soup. Call him Campbell's because he's cooking.
Yeah, yes, yeah. Soup Campbell, no progressive. I almost did it one day. John, true story. I went to when Progressive first came out. True story. And I'm a Campbell's man. And I was walking down the soup aisle, and I like Campbell's vegetable soup with the beef in it. That's my favorite one. And I looked at the Progressive, and I'm like, "Ooh, you're a little chunkier." And I was like, I can't cheat on my Campbell's soup." So yeah, I keep it Campbell's because Michigan keep it at Campbell.
Absolutely. I want to. The only thing we know right now, folks, is that about 10 minutes ago, Calvin Russell tweeted out that he hasn't committed to anyone yet. And so what is? I mean, yeah, I don't have an official word yet. I do know that 4 hours ago, Chip Lindsey said "Go Blue," and
Okay. Ooh.
gave Chip Lindsey said "Go Blue," did the Michigan flag, but a lot of people are trolling and saying he's committed to X, Y, and Z school. No, we don't know where he's committing to yet, and
Hey guys.
I'm gonna follow what he said himself. That's what I'm
Hey
gonna do.
John.
Yeah.
Detroit beat Cleveland for the second time in a row. And Tigers baseball, let's go. They finally getting over the hump. They finally beating Cleveland. If we can beat Cleveland, and we have confidence going to the playoffs and beat them.
Well, listen. I'm always down for Detroit beating Cleveland in anything. All right. Let's see here. So yeah, I mean, other than as we await the decision, we had some news earlier today that Dorian Barney, 4-star cornerback out of Georgia, committed to the University of Michigan, which looks like it was kind of a compensation for Brody Jennings flipping to Miami. So basically, you drop one and then you pick up a major 4-star cornerback. What was your reaction to that news, Marmar?
We lost one, we gained one. And they both 4 stars. They both play similar and pretty damn good. So at least we making up for them. And aren't we going for the #1 corner in the class too?
We're probably going for everybody.
Yeah, the #1 corner. I forget his name. So we gonna make up ground. I already knew Brody Jennings was gone because when he opened up his recruitment, he said my recruitment ain't closed. So that means he was open for Didn't his brother play us at one time too? Didn't his brother go to the school and then transfer to Mississippi or something? Mississippi State. Jennings.
Jennings.
Yeah, he's a little brother of uh, one of the players that used to play at Michigan, but he ended up transferring too. So uh, once the news came out about a month ago that he was going to end up flipping, I wasn't worried about it because I see the guys that they, making up ground with and getting. So
yeah,
we lost one today. Yep.
His older brother also turned down Miami and flipped to Michigan and then signed with Maryland. So you're talking about Brandon Jennings.
Yeah, Brandon.
Yeah.
Yep. So I think we all right.
All right.
And they did good in the 2025 class to build up the corner room, the defensive back room too. So I see they doing the same thing in this class.
Folks, we are broadcasting right now on multiple channels at the Voice of College Football. The Michigan channel, Florida State channel, Oregon channel, the Twitch account for Michigan, the X account for Michigan. Here we go, or the X account for me, I should say. The X account for John Diadamo. So we've got it popping right now. And yeah, Mitten, I'm with you.
What up, Mitten, mate? You my guy.
Absolutely, and he wanted to stay close for family, and I completely understand that. This one isn't just because of a bag. Like people think Miami and they threw a bag. No, this one's family. This one's he wants to stay close to home, so it's understandable. And we respect his decision. Michigan 2403, the newest Connor Stallions espionage member here on the Michigan channel. Moore is building something special. He has the right coaches in place for the most part, and I think he has a run at. I think he makes a run at this thing. Yeah, yeah, I think he is too. Michigan, and his moves have been very strategic. He's keeping the coaches that underperformed last year, but he's bringing in analysts. Soup Campbell for the wide receiver room, Juan Castillo for the line, the two position groups that we probably criticize the most on this show. Constructive criticism always, but notice that both of them get these major analysts who big-time analysts, big-time coaches. I agree with you. The jury's still out on Bellamy. The jury's still out on Brian Jean-Marie. I will say that if Calvin Russell goes Michigan, I'm going to say Ron Bellamy can recruit. That's what I'm going to say about that. Brian Jean-Marie, we got to see a little bit more, I think, still from him. But here we go. Okay, Marmar, I know you're playing. So final thought for us before we have a bunch of callers in the queue here.
I got a final thought for you. Hit me up, man. Call me. I need to holler at you.
Okay.
All right, get at me. Go blue.
Right. Go
keep
blue.
Keep cooking. Woo. And I can't wait till August 30th.
Absolutely.
After 3:30, so we can come up here and do a video about the beatdown that Ohio State suffered from Texas.
Absolutely. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great day. All right,
Absolutely.
love y'all, man.
All right, bye, Marmar. Go blue.
All right, love, man. Yep.
Okay, we are now $33 away from our second hour, folks. Now, I will stay on, obviously, through the commitment. But if you guys want a second hour after that, then it's we literally just have 33 more dollars to go. I'm going to post the link so that everybody can see what I'm seeing here. This is the Instagram 14 Gump. This is his Instagram account. He's going live on Instagram and on TikTok. He went live. Moose, you said he went live? Hearing Calvin got stuck in traffic. That actually, I am going to highlight that because that is understandable, and it makes sense. All right. Let's see here. $33 till we get a second hour. Absolutely. Okay. I am still waiting on the... I don't see the live on my end. So let me know. I don't see the live. I'm literally... I'm refreshing. Holy crap, here comes Blue Wolverine with a 50 burger, folks. A 50 burger from Blue Wolverine. Like the video, go Blue. Absolutely, thank you so much. That is big time, and that means that we are now $83 from a third hour. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's get... I think I might cap it at 3 hours, but let's go for a third hour of the show. That means more analysis, more callers, more insights. And I just don't... I'm sorry, guys, I don't see the live yet. So let me know. Because I am literally refreshing. I'm also looking at some other... I'm looking at some other sources, too, to see if there are any whispers kind of going on here. Meanwhile, while we're waiting, and again, we've got, nobody, nobody has it yet. But Blue Wolverine, thank you for that. Hit that like button. It just takes a second. It's free. It helps us bring this thing up even more. We got a bunch of folks on the line here, and it'll help the algorithm quite a bit. And here we go with a $33 super chat from One Pride 0427. Hour 2, go Blue. Come to the mitten, Calvin. We already got to our second hour, so you're going to help us get to the third hour. We are now, because of you, we are now $50 away from hour number 3. Now, I will promise to stay until this commitment goes live, at the very bare minimum. But at the max, we'll be here another hour, and then another 2 if we get to $50 more. Will get us to a third hour. And here comes Elisha Bowman. Samaj Morgan apparently kidnapped Calvin Russell so that he can keep his wide receiver spot for the 2026 season. Yeah, that checks out. That checks out. Breaking news from Elisha Bowman there. We are now $45 away from a third hour. So if he's live, I need somebody to post, let's see, because he's not on IG yet, which is what I was told. It would be IG, and it would be IG, and it would be TikTok, is what I was told. Okay, I'm assuming this video, the Calvin Russell commitment live from Section 104 Miami, is the video. I'm assuming that's what it is. And right now they're just partying. Let's see. Folks, confirm or deny for me. Help me out here. Is this the video? Is this what everybody's seeing as far as a live? It's basically, it's looking like it's just like a preliminary get-together. Anyway. Okay. Holy crap, here we go. So we've got Michigan 2403 with the 50 burger. We've hit 3 hours. And that is where we're gonna third hour unlocked. We're not gonna do an all night today, but I am promising you 3 hours of the show. So thank you so much for 3 hours of the show. Let's read the super chat. Third hour, let's go, baby. Go blue. Go blue, Michigan 2403. Cody Frazier with the 5. Need this one, boys. Absolutely. Go blue, Calvin. Super genius with the 50 burger. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about here. 50 burgers. Jeremy Clore with the $1.99. Thank you so much. And like I said, we are guaranteed to be going 3 hours, which means we'll have more calls, we'll have more analysis, and while we wait, I'm going to recap where we're at here. And if somebody has something, I will. I'm still refreshing everywhere. We are live right now on 6 different platforms, and we are all waiting for this announcement. We are simulcasting on every team channel that I was able to hit the button for, who is in the mix. Michigan, Florida State, Oregon. If we can get into Syracuse, I can add that too. But Kenji Davis says the Suckeye channel doesn't have this much excitement. Go blue. Kenji, thank you so much. I'm going to say this to be fair to Garrison and the team. They're hustling. They are. They're doing a great job. They're hustling. Do I agree with them on matters of football? Almost never. But I respect the hustle. Massive show, absolutely. So yeah, Sam Webb had said that Calvin Russell is stuck in traffic. So not much you can do about that. Sometimes traffic happens, and a lot of people are saying he's committed to X, Y, and Z place, and we don't know. I don't have that confirmed by an actual media source or insider yet. Elisha Bowman with the $2. Go ahead and subscribe. Sarah Excuse fans. Russell has not made an appearance as guests continue to arrive. So we are still waiting for Calvin Russell to physically appear at the venue. Jeremy Clore, $4.99. Feel like Russell will catch many touchdowns and even throw a few touchdowns at Michigan. So let's go ahead for those of you just joining, because we continue to bring in more viewers as we go. I want to make sure everybody knows a little bit about Calvin Russell and why this is so important. Calvin Russell is 6'5". He is a 6 foot 10-inch wingspan. He is a number 5 composite wide receiver in the country. He's from Miami, Florida. Shout out, Northwestern High School. He is a 247 Sports 5-star. And as far as overall wide receivers, he is number 5 in the country for 247 Sports Composite. So as we wait for him, again, 2024, 39 pass completions for 704 yards, 13 touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns. And the film speaks for itself. And I think that when paired with somebody like a Travis Johnson, when paired with somebody like a Jalen Pyle, when paired with somebody like an Andrew Marsh, I think that this really explodes the pass game for Michigan when you compare it to a few years ago. And as you can see here, in this concept on the Z, there's your play action right there. Able to, there were 2 people trying to cover. He was able to get the ball. He has really good kind of final speed. He's able to get that final burst, kind of reminding me of Blake Corum in the run game. When he's in the run game, he's kind of Corum-like. Here's Calvin in the X position. On that route, he was able to just run past his defenders, get the ball. Here's Calvin Russell in the Z again, just able to run his route effectively. Nothing fancy there, just route running. That's it. Then there's your deep shot. Just no one in the vicinity there. Calvin Russell able. Now, keep this in mind, folks. Calvin Russell is going to be playing against, assuming he goes to Michigan, he is going to be playing against defenders who are going to not miss their assignments so much, especially in the upper quartile of the Big Ten. But you can see here kind of why Michigan, why Ron Bellamy, why Chip Lindsey are so interested in this guy. Again, another one from the Z there. Looked like kind of a slant concept there. We've got, let's see. And again, just a nice little play there. He's able to, like I said, he's able to be utilized in the run game. He was able to get 2 touchdowns on the ground. Let me check again here. Let's see where we're at. Got another 77 messages. Thank you to Leanne. Leanne is the recruiting analyst at Voice of College Football. Not the most finesse, but great body control. Makes a mismatch. Leanne, if you would like to call in, I'm going to post the call-in link right here in the various channels. Go ahead and call in, and we can chat up this guy. While we wait for Calvin Russell to appear in the building. That's what we're waiting on. And let's see. Jeremy, feel like Russell will catch many touchdowns and even throw a few touchdowns at Michigan. Yes, because remember, he played quarterback for 2 years. Brady the GOAT, longest watch party I've seen, kid. Brody, we were told 9 o'clock Eastern. So I went live at 8:36 to break it down. The last few commits happened right at the promised time. This one, due to traffic concerns, not so much. So it's out of our control. But we are going, no matter what, 3 hours. So he just arrived, apparently. Is that what I'm hearing? All right. So while we wait, let's bring on the next. Again, I'm taking callers that are from the schools that are in the mix here for Calvin Russell, which means the next caller is going to be Kinetic. Kinetic, go blue. What's up? This is like man. What is this? A reality show or a American Idol when we're waiting for the winner of American Idol and Ryan Seacrest says right after the break?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. It's bound to happen, but if it's this, there's always the chance like this could be just like a PR thing, get people waiting, get people wanting it, more people tune in, you drive the demand for it, So I don't know. I'm not saying he's doing it on purpose, but I'm not saying it either.
Yeah. That would be an interesting PR move to make 32,000 viewers wait while
and especially following that tweet or that post that you said he had.
Thanks, Andrew Foster, for that sarcasm. But in that particular play, that's what it was. It wasn't a separation thing. It was literally just great route running. So each play, there was something different to point out, right? Fun fact, he was coached last year by Teddy Bridgewater.
So wait, he went to the high school that Teddy coached at last year and won the state championship?
The state championship. Mm-hmm.
Nice. I didn't
Northwestern
know that. Awesome.
in Miami, Florida. Yep.
Yeah, I like Teddy.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah, he's a coach now.
So I just want to point out to the people that don't know, and I'm not going to put the specifics out there, but don't have any ill will towards Brody Jennings. We kind of knew what was going to happen for the last couple months, based on something that happened close to home for him, and wish him the best of luck. It's not that we would have loved to have him, but sometimes things change. So, but yeah. So what are you feeling on this? You think are you feeling confident or?
Well, I know what I'm feeling right now is that we've got the live. So let's go ahead and pop the Instagram live up here. Instagram live is here. They are live on IG. Thank you, Elisha, for that. $1.99. So we have 3 hours guaranteed for this show. Yes, I know everybody. I got it. Don't worry. I got it.
So they might or something.
It looks like the lighting is I think it is like a night like kind of a nightclub situation, or not, maybe like a bar. They've got really good lighting. They're really playing this up like it's a LeBron the decision type of a situation.
Hey, you know what? You only get to commit once most of the time.
So we are moments away from finding out where Calvin Russell is going to be spent taking his talents.
You know, it was.
He's talking, so I'm going to go ahead and take it right to him if that's okay, and then I'll let you back.
Yeah, you're good.
Justin, we need a backup.
All right, looks like we've got some AV issues.
I wasn't sure if that was just on my end or what.
No. AV issues, because, yeah, the mic officially doesn't work. So this is a note to everybody. And so I've been in the events industry for 11 years. You always triple check your AV, making sure your mics work. You want to make sure you talk to your AV company before they leave, because sometimes they'll leave for their next job. Don't let them leave until you know that the microphones are working. So this is just a tip to anybody who's going to plan an event in the future. Triple check your AV. Make sure and have a backup mic too.
Yeah, and even then, you still want to have like a sound guy in the building that can help in an emergency. When I was working in the music industry, when I still lived down in Tennessee, we actually did a show up here in Lansing at a place called The Loft. I don't know if it's still there or not, but had a bunch of issues with the mics and AV there, and there was nobody in the house, so had to jury rig a few things.
Wait, where'd he go? It sounded like he just made his announcement.
It looks like he is. Nobody's told him that we can't hear it. Have we seen anything with a school logo on it?
I'm waiting. Mike Ford is on his. Okay, it's Syracuse. According to. Okay. Sounds like it's Syracuse.
Let's see if there's any posts for it. Okay, yep. So Trevor McHugh just posted on X that it's Syracuse. So did Hayes Fawcett.
Okay. Breaking news. 5-star wide receiver Calvin Russell committing to Syracuse with Fran Brown, a late push a late push to move this over the edge from Michigan, one of the most impressive recruiting coups in quite a while, and now we're going to see can it stick? Because I think one thing we need to remember with these recruits is that with these, this isn't done. None of these are done. But we also need to remember that we already have a class that includes Zion Robinson, Travis Johnson, Jalen Pyle, in addition to the people that are on. So, while this one does sting a little, it's not over. It's not over. But it did, I will say this, it did, there was a piece of me, Kinetic, that was like, this feels off. This feels like it might go the other way, at least for now.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna get rid of the.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm not trying to downplay that this kid was a phenomenal talent. Okay, but as has been said on y'all's show, over on May's Madman show, on Johnny's show multiple times, I know Juju's brought it up every time he's been on a show recently. He's mostly still potential. You know what I'm saying? Like Travis Johnson, comparatively, is a much more polished receiver right now. A lot of it was potential just based on his physicals and his, where he could develop, what he could develop into. But I always felt like Michigan was looking at taking 3 receivers. We got Jalen Pyle early. Then we were pursuing Zion Robinson. We were pursuing Travis Johnson. And the Calvin Russell stuff kind of came on really late. And it became one of those things where I think that they knew for a while that we had Zion and Travis in the class. And I think the only way they were going to make room for a 4th wide receiver commit in this class was for Calvin Russell. But I don't think that – I'm not that surprised. And it would have been great to have him. But I'm good with what we got at receiver coming in, combined with what we got last year with Marsh and Washington and Browder.
Same here. To get an alternative perspective from somebody who's been doing pretty well recently with recruiting, the Alabama Crimson Tide, Jackson Johnson has been waiting very patiently as everybody's been here. So I want to bring him on, the host of Alabama Crimson Tide Live and the Call-In Show and a bunch of other stuff. Jackson Johnson in the house. How you doing?
Shout out, Jackson.
I'm doing pretty good. I mean, this is another win by Fran Brown in the Syracuse Orange. I mean, there's a reason why 247 in 2023 named him as the #1 recruiter, and it's moved like this. And this was even when he was an assistant coach at Georgia. So that should tell you something right there.
Yeah, and guys, if you haven't already, go check out Jackson's channel. Next to John and TJ, I think he's the hardest working guy I see in the Voice of College Football Network. So go give him a follow. Check out the show. Even though a lot of us are Michigan fans, it's a phenomenal show regardless. So go check him out, guys.
I thank you for the shout out, Ken Tech 615. I appreciate it, man.
No, you're good.
Oh, man. But, yeah, I mean, moves like this make me think it would not surprise me if we see blue bloods in the SEC Big Ten that are not satisfied with their coaches looking to upgrade with Fran Brown at some point. Somebody is going to snatch him from Syracuse.
I mean, he look at what he did last year with Kyle McCord and a team that nobody saw coming. I mean, not that they, were like in the playoffs or anything, but look at the numbers they put up. That was crazy.
Oh, yeah. It's nuts. I mean, it was like a huge turnaround last season.
Yep.
And this year, it's going to be a tough schedule. I mean, if they look like an 8-win team or a 7-win team, let's just say they're not looking like it this year. But the future is bright for the Syracuse Orange.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just kind of asking myself, what's next for the Wolverines? What's next for Florida State and the Oregon Ducks now that they're not getting Calvin Russell? Or
Well,
there's a
Florida
chance to flip
State,
them because let's
Florida
not throw the
State
cart
and
in before the
Oregon are
horse.
already. I feel like Florida State and Oregon are already like, yeah, we knew.
Well, I
They
mean,
have other priorities. I feel like.
But let's be honest. There's not a single program that was in on the end of his recruitment here that's going to stop between now and February. The recruitment of Calvin Russell isn't going to just stop today.
No.
I mean,
I don't see it
with a recruit with the ceiling like that, it's not going to stop.
Let's remember, folks, that we have, and by we, I want to be clear, I mean Michigan, because we do have Oregon, Florida State channels simulcasting. There are multiple other wide receivers that are really good wide receivers that are in the class. And everybody, we talk about Travis Johnson, right? But also remember Zion Robinson committed, right? 6'3", Mansfield, Texas, and Travis Johnson, who I think Travis Johnson might be the best wide receiver in this class overall. And I know that that's a big statement, and I know that he's kind of behind in the, but like if you look at the film and where he's at compared to where some of the others, I think he's got a lot of room to like a very high ceiling potentially. And then of course Jalen Pyle is also
severely underrated. Jalen Pyle is so, I mean, just on the field, he's severely underrated, but I mean, he almost should be getting some recruiter credits on these on websites like Rivals and 247 for some of these commitments that we've been getting lately. Like he has been going so hard on the recruiting trail for his class.
Yeah. So I'm going to say what I said at the beginning of the show when it comes to Ron Bellamy. And on the matter of my criticism of Ron Bellamy, I apologize to absolutely nobody. That's right, folks. Absolutely nobody. I do think he's made some great strides in recruiting. I think Travis Johnson was a great pickup. There's no question about that. There is clearly room for improvement. And I think they are going to keep working on Russell all the way up to signing day. But also, we still have to see those on-field adjustments and on-field improvements. And I'm not just talking about 2024 either.
Well, let me ask you a question, though, because let's say we see improvement on the field and in development of the receivers. Does Bellamy even get the credit there? Because now we have Soup Campbell, and there can be a clear line of delineation between when we started getting better play on the field and development to when they brought Soup Campbell back. So I don't know that even then the full credit would go to Bellamy, but I will say credit to Ron Bellamy that we were even in the Calvin Russell recruitment because that came very late. And the fact that he got us into his final two, really, I think that should get a little bit of credit towards Ron Bellamy. Being able to get, with the handcuffs off of Jim Harbaugh's run heavy pass second or maybe even third offense. I think that he has shown some life. I mean, we always heard that he was a really good recruiter, and then we got Zion and Travis and right down to the wire with Calvin. I think you give him a little bit of credit, but I don't think he's completely off the hook. We need to see it consistently over the next two to three seasons.
Absolutely. Real quick, we're just going to post. Kinetic has a GoFundMe, and so we're posting that on the various channels here. If you have a couple of bucks, him and his mom been going through a lot of medical issues, medical struggles, and but he dedicates a lot of time to Voice of College Football, to Maze Madman. So if you have a couple of bucks that you want to send them his way, absolutely appreciated.
I really appreciate that, John. Things are really, really tight for us right now. So any assistance, any help that anyone can provide, even if it's just a couple dollars, I wouldn't ask anybody to give any more than they're able to and willing to. And if you have any questions, if you want any transparency and know what it's being used for, or details on what I'm going through, feel free to message me on X at Kinetic615. I'm happy to answer any questions and be transparent about it.
Sure.
But I appreciate that, John. Thank you.
Absolutely. Monday Morning Rager with the 2. I'm excited to see who we put these resources in. I guess instead of Calvin Russell, now there's resources for others.
That's true.
I mean, I think that this possibility was game planned by Bellamy and by Sharon and Chip Lindsey. I'm sure that they had this possibility in mind. They're going to keep going after this guy all the way to, like, this isn't over. But credit to Fran Brown. Credit to, see, here's why, like, just to break it down. I do have Syracuse at 8-4 in 2025. Kyle McCord is gone. I'm not really convinced that they have the replacement. Kyle McCord was on a mission last year to prove that what happened at Ohio State, like in some of the heat that he got at Ohio State, he's still a really, really strong quarterback. That's why he was taken above Will Howard in the NFL draft. But the reasons why Syracuse, Fran Brown relationship, they have a really good relationship. Count the Russells, Fran Brown. Playing time in both sports. I have a theory, and remember I said this at the beginning of the show, that I thought if Russell picks Syracuse, it's because he's being promised a start in both sports. And that's a tough thing to overcome because you know how Michigan is. Michigan's a meritocracy. So we can say that if you performed your best ability and you outperform the others, that you're going to get starting time. And there are 3 wide receiver positions, obviously, X, Y, and Z, X, slot, and Z. But at the same time, still got to earn it. And I'm thinking maybe this, and again, this is speculation, but if he was promised to start in football and start in basketball, that's a tough thing to overcome. He's got friends in the program, and I also predict that Syracuse has a decent chunk of NIL that they haven't used yet, that they were kind of baking for Calvin Russell. And as you can see with all the wide receivers some of the wide receivers and other talent that Michigan has gotten the last couple of weeks, Michigan's been on an absolute tear, right? Dorian Barney today, absolute tear. So they need to funnel NIL to those players, right? So that's tough. Calvin Russell can have a decent chunk of the pie at Syracuse, right? Because they got a lot of 3 stars, right, that are probably not making a ton of NIL. So more wiggle room to give Calvin Russell a higher package.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it, it's got to be an easier idea to think that he could get a starting role in the basketball team at Syracuse than at Michigan. You look at what Dusty Baker has put together the last year, and I'm sure Dusty, told him that he could, find a spot for him on the team, but how much of a role versus at Syracuse. And then at Michigan, yeah, like our wide receiver room has not been strong at all the last couple of years. But if you look at going forward, like I said earlier, Andrew Marsh, Jamar Browder, Jacob Washington, you got already got Travis Johnson, Zion Robinson, Jalen Pyle. You've got some what's quickly turning into a pretty loaded class. And it's still, even then, it's still going to be a heavy run team, even if we are throwing it more. So yeah, there's 3 wide receiver starting spots, like you said, but there's still only so many targets to go around.
Yeah, it's true. You have to watch out with all the mouths to feed, and in addition, it's tough because I think I have a theory that Michigan promised Donovan Edwards starting time in 2024, which is why they stubbornly continued to put him in, to run up the A gap when he should have been a receiver and like a slot, like out in the slot. Get him out in space, outside zone, some of those.
I'm not even mad that they gave him so many snaps, but give us some creativity. Do some split back sets, some duo sets. Have him and Kalel both out there with Orgy and motion him out to the slot. Run him on a sweep. Utilize Donovan. I'm not even mad they gave him a promise of snap count, but there was they could have been so much more creative with how they used him instead of trying to make him run like Blake.
Yeah, he's just not Blake. So he's not. And Kalel Mullings was clearly between the like the guy who's going to do your inside zones. He's gonna run up the A gap for you. Rambling on with Zach Jones with the $5 from a GT fan. Look at Syracuse's schedule. They'll struggle to win 6 games this year, and this dude will flip. Proud for Syracuse fans, though. Just for funsies, let's check it out. Let's look at Syracuse's schedule. I will confess it's not something that I've spent many hours of study on. The Syracuse 2025.
Well, they're gonna get smacked by Tennessee, unfortunately, in week 1 because.
Oh yeah, they're gonna. Yeah, they're.
I mean, Tennessee got that Bobby Hill riz from Josh Heupel. So, I mean, that's part of it.
Yeah, they're gonna drop 2 out of their first 4 games, right? Like, I think they'll beat UConn and Colgate, but then I think they're gonna drop to Clemson. They might even drop to Duke. Then you've got
SMU looks like a loss.
Yeah. Listen, the Georgia Tech fan might be onto something. North Carolina with Belichick, at Miami, at Notre Dame, who just went to the Natty.
Miami, they always lose that one game they shouldn't. It could be at home against Syracuse, or it could be on the road to Virginia Tech the week before rivalry week, or at Pitt on rivalry week.
I would pick
You
Virginia
never know
Tech or
with
even
Miami.
Georgia
They
Tech.
always
Georgia Tech was a nice team last year, so
Oh yeah. Well, they don't have Georgia Tech this year, so it's who knows with Miami. But
I thought we were talking
Notre
about
Dame
Syracuse.
was
I'm
like
sorry.
a sure loss.
Yeah, there's people in the chat predicting 3 games, three wins.
Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, Lane. It's not going to be that bad.
You know what though? It's going to be interesting, the ripple effect, because I just looked at Syracuse's 2026 class, and they've already got 4 wide receivers committed for this class. Calvin Russell makes the 5th, so it'll be curious to see if there's any ripple effects on their class from that. One of them is a 4-star; the others are all 3 stars.
Yeah, I was saying they had a lot of 3 stars. I noticed when I took a gander at their recruiting class, which makes me think that they have the money to just kind of give it to Calvin. I mean, Michigander, that's what I had. Looking at this schedule, though, I don't know. North Carolina, by the way, folks, North Carolina to me is the absolute biggest wild card in all of college football, because they could be anywhere from 2-10 to 11-1.
Well, and you don't know who's really coaching that. Is it Bill Belichick? Is it his son? Is it his girlfriend? Like, who's actually the coach of UNC?
His girlfriend's handling the communications and but his son is the defensive coordinator. They also have offensive legend Freddie Kitchens as offensive coordinator. So very exciting.
We don't claim Freddie Kitchens.
You know, something just an interesting thing. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did they not pick up both Amorian Walker and Andrew Anthony in the transfer portal this year? Am I wrong on that? Someone in the chat, double check that, fact check me on that. But I feel like they like both of them transferred from Michigan and Oklahoma to North Carolina.
Andrew Anthony is at Duke.
Okay.
Who was the other one?
Amorian Walker. Never mind. I apologize. I thought they both went to the same place.
Let's see where Amorian Walker is here.
Maybe they both went to Duke, and I was getting confused. My apologies. I can't be right all the time.
It's all good.
Oh, okay. Amorian went to Middle Tennessee. Who was it that transferred
Tennessee
to UNC then?
State.
Hold on. Didn't somebody transfer from Michigan to UNC?
Well, I guarantee you, someone in the chat, if a Michigan player, Ben Hall, yes, I remember that.
Sorry, guys, I got a little bit confused there. My bad.
Thank you to Nick Lundberg on that one. Ben Hall is now a North Carolina Tar Heel, so we'll be playing in Freddie Kitchens' offense. Good luck to Ben Hall on that.
I hope he shows out, man. I hope he shows out.
Yeah, Zach is right about Syracuse having the toughest schedule in the ACC. I mean, he's not wrong.
That is brutal. Jeez.
Rambling On is back with another one. DJ Khaled with the 5. UT, Clemson, SMU, Miami, Notre Dame. These are your almost guaranteed losses. Then they could lose to Duke, UNC, GT, and Pitt. Toughest schedule in the ACC. It's not easy. I mean, listen, it's not easy, and 8-4 might have been a little optimistic.
Well, let's ask. Let's okay. So we know that Calvin Russell was a project. So as far as like getting like field ready, do we think he would have played any in his freshman year with Michigan? And conversely, do we think he gets on the field freshman year with Syracuse?
Yes.
To both?
I think he's going to be a starter in football and basketball.
Would he have been a starter in either or both at Michigan? Year one?
Basketball, maybe. Well, I don't know. Because
you got to think. Because you got to think that would like we still have quite a few current wide receivers that could still be back next year, and then we'd have year 2 of Marsh and Browder and Washington, and Travis Johnson I think is ready to play day one. So
yeah,
I
Andrew
don't know
Marsh will
played.
be around. Andrew Marsh will have another year under his belt at that point.
I don't think he would have got on the field year one at Michigan, where he probably will at Syracuse.
And also, we were all at the spring game, and we saw the connection that Bryce Underwood has to Channing Goodwin.
Yep,
we all watched that live in Ann Arbor when the Avengers all went to the spring game.
So Nick just said senior Fred Moore. So Fred Moore would be a senior in 26? Is that right?
I think that's right. Let me look here.
So Fred Moore has a good season this year because Donovan McCulley's in his senior year. So if Fred Moore does have a good season as wide receiver 2, he could potentially be wide receiver 1 in 26.
Yeah, it could be Fred Moore, Andrew Marsh. Andrew Marsh is going to be a starter. I'm putting my claim right there.
Yeah,
Andrew Marsh is going to start.
I think Andrew Marsh is the most talented receiver we have, but will year 2 Andrew Marsh be more polished than year 5 Fred Moore? I don't know.
That remains to be seen. I will say that there's a lot of wild cards because the quarterback play has improved significantly. I'm comfortable saying it, that even without seeing Bryce play a college game yet, other than the spring game, it's better than 24. I think that the offensive coordinator is no longer an offensive coordinator that just calls routes behind the line of scrimmage and calls curls and digs and awful. Kirk Campbell needed to go. And, you've got now a competent Chip Lindsey had a top 10 offense in 2023 at UNC. It did dip in 2024 with the loss of Drake May, but it was still, I believe, in the 40s.
No, it was still 40. A good offense. It was just you can only like the ceiling of your offense's capability is going to drop when you lose more talent than you bring in. But like maximizing his personnel is where Chip Lindsey excels. And it's the exact opposite with Kirk Campbell. Kirk Campbell tried to run the J.J. McCarthy, Blake Corum offense and tried to dumb it down to the level of depth that we had and talent at some positions, and didn't get creative or try to tailor the offense to what we actually had. And that's the polar opposite. Chip Lindsey's going to come in and he's going to see the talent we have at tight end and running back and the wide receivers. I think you're going to see a lot of 2 tight end sets with him. I think you're going to see a lot more utilizing the right guys on gadget plays, utilizing Samaj Morgan better, utilizing Micah more. He's going to play. You look at his offenses when he had a really good quarterback and good receivers, he aired it out more. When he didn't and he had better running backs, he ran it more. When he had better tight ends than he did receivers, he utilized them more in the passing game. Like he adapts his offense to the personnel, and that's something we did not have last year.
You're absolutely right. He knows, and he's also able. I think he's much better at reading defenses. He's much better at playing the chess match. I don't think Kurt Campbell really knew how to adapt. And when we saw improvement, my theory is that it was Sharon Moore taking over. Those final 2 games, Northwestern and Ohio State, what did we see? We saw a return to more I formation. We saw a return to more pistol. We saw a return to more run game and more pin and pulls and more routes that were more diversified. And I think that's because Sharon Moore said enough is enough. I'm taking the reins. You can go coach quarterbacks, I guess. And that's my theory. I don't know. I don't have any inside intel on that.
I agree with you. I think people were wanting Sharon to do that last year, and I think he tried to avoid doing it as much as possible. I think I said this on your show with you and TJ at one point last year during the season. I think Sharon Moore, you look at who he learned from, and he learned from Bob Stoops, he learned from Petrino, he learned from Jim Harbaugh. All 3 of those coaches were the CEO type of head coach. They would hire people, put them in the position to that they were in, and they would give them the support and the tools to succeed, but they would let them, sink or swim in their position. They wouldn't step in and micromanage them. They wouldn't to cut the rug out from underneath them. They wanted them to, grow and learn from their mistakes and step up. And then they would address the issues, except for with Don Brown, in the offseason. And I think that Sharon Moore, especially in his first year where he's having to learn on the job at a major Power 4 school, the head coaching duties, that he also tried to have that same philosophy. And it worked with Wink. Wink had struggles early on adapting to the college game, and he fixed it. He fixed the problems himself. He self-analyzed. He was able to adapt. Kurt Campbell couldn't do that. So I think that's why we saw Sharon step in later than a lot of people wanted to, but I just don't think he wanted to do it. And I think that's why he got rid of Kurt Campbell so easily, because he didn't step up. He didn't adapt. He didn't change anything up. He didn't try to fix it.
Well, John, I just want to say that this is an amazing watch party that you got here tonight. Like, I didn't know it was going to be on, but when I saw it, I was like, wow, this is going to be magical, especially when you got John hosting it.
Hey, thank you so much.
Hey, this is the second party the 3 of us have been a part of together in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Well,
we did Malachi Lee, right?
Yep,
Malachi Lee. But there's plenty more, because tomorrow, Leanne and I are hosting the Chauncey Keenan live watch party commitment for Florida State, Miami, Georgia, LSU, and Oregon on each of the Voice College Football channels. Leanne and I will be joined by Grant Shashir from LSU at the Voice College Football. Matthew Lennox. We'll be joined by Mr. Graham. We'll be joined by a lot of people. I can tell you it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a wild ride. And then next week, you've got KJ Ford commitment watch party next Friday, 8:15 p.m. Eastern time on the Florida channel, Texas A&M, and Ohio State channel. And you're going to see, Caden Prothrow committing to either Alabama, Florida, Texas, Auburn, or Georgia on July 12th, next Saturday at noon Central Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. But there's one that involves Michigan, Oregon, Georgia, and Alabama on July 16th.
Remind us who that is.
At 11:45 a.m. Central Time, 12:45 p.m. Eastern Times. And it's the Nick Abrams commitment watch party.
It's already up. 11 days in the future, but Jack Double J got it up for us. So definitely bookmark that one in your calendars.
We're rocking and rolling all right here. And, it was like an idea I came up with to Mark, and I sent it to TJ, Chris, Mark in a text message a few weeks back. I was like, we should do like these commitment watch parties, something like that. I think the first one was Max Sutter. Just kind of like let him know, like, hey, it's a good idea. And I know Chris, it's maybe a little hard to do to get everybody on this. Like, I don't I think it could happen, especially with a week in advance.
I mean,
and it happened.
I love to watch parties. I'm a
There's
watch party
plenty
guy.
more.
I'll do game watch parties. I'll do commitment watch parties. I'll do I'm down to do watch parties, but it seems like a lot of people don't like to do them. They don't like to be on camera for live reactions. Okay, but I'm down.
No problem. You don't have to show your face.
Yeah, it's all good.
It's
all good. You bring the Voice of College Football is about quality insight analysis. We like to see people's faces, but also if you can bring the insight and analysis, let us know what's going on. That's always a priority. I did just put up, Jackson, your channels. I want everybody here, all the folks that are currently still watching on YouTube, on X, on Twitch, on everywhere, go subscribe to Jackson Johnson on YouTube and the Alabama Voice of College Football channels. Tell your friends, family, and cashiers at Publix about the magic that Jackson brings every single day on these things.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I mean, Coach Burtz and Jeffrey and myself, on Monday, we're going to be going over what we expect from media days from an Alabama perspective. A way too early preview of Louisiana Monroe. I mean, let's be honest, that clip is going to be like a 3-4 minute clip, I'm sure. I mean, you really want to hear 8 minutes of Louisiana Monroe? Nah, but in all seriousness, we go over an early preview of each of these games for the 2025 season, all right there on Alabama with the Voice of College Football. And, Jeffrey and I take your calls 10 p.m. Eastern time, Thursday nights. And you got Coach Smook and Manny Wilson on the Alabama Primetime Live Show, 7 p.m. Eastern time. We've got a huge lineup, and we've got social media accounts. You can tune in on Alabama VOCFB on X, Instagram, and TikTok, where you got Alabama magic everywhere. But I'll tell you this, I can't wait to see Michigan VOCFB get an X account, Instagram, and TikTok. That would be cool right there.
Hey, Jackson, before you go, can I ask you a question about Alabama?
Sure.
How is the Alabama fans and community viewing Kalen DeBoer and his first year, and how much of a leash does he have? Is he looking at a hot seat? Are people generally happy with him? How much leeway do you think he has at being, you always hear you never want to be the guy following the legend. So how is he stacking up so far in the
if he's having
Alabama
another 9-3 season, I think you're going to see a lot of Bama people calling in on the Alabama call-in show venting to us. Let's put it that way. And there's going to be some people just throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Just after Alabama lost to Vandy, I was getting my hair done day after. And there were some people that were saying, oh, well, Nick Saban wouldn't have done this. Nick Saban wouldn't have done that. The people that say Nick Saban wouldn't have done this, Nick Saban wouldn't have done that, some of those people are the casual viewers. They only watch the Alabama team. They're not spending all day and all night looking at their teams they don't like, or just teams as a whole. They're not spending every day and every night, every waking hour on college football in general. They're just not.
Right.
That's just something to look out for. You'll know who the college football fanatic is and who isn't the college football fanatic by the comments that they make.
Facts.
Yeah. The only thing that I saw last year that I thought, and I'm not a Bama fan, but I lived in Tennessee for damn near 20 years around a lot of Alabama fans. So I actually seen quite a bit of Alabama during the Saban era. The only thing that struck me as something that Saban wouldn't have put up with was the tantrum on the field at the end of the Vanderbilt game by Malachi.
Yeah, he wouldn't have accepted that.
Yeah, I said as soon as I saw that, I was like, if Saban was still the coach, he'd be walking back home from Nashville.
Yeah, that's called an ass. He would be getting an ass chewing, as Lane Kiffin used to call it.
Oh yeah, it's like Brad Pitt on Inglourious Basterds. Good. Nah, I've been cheated out before. I've been cheated out before. There's plenty more times I'll get cheated out.
Yeah, it's wild stuff. I mean, yeah, DeBoer is an interest. I still say I think he should have stayed at Washington. because Dan Lanning had the right idea. Dan Lanning was offered the Bama job. He turned it down. He stayed at Oregon because he knows that if he wins a title at Oregon, he's set. I mean, he could build a legacy at Oregon. Oregon's never won a national championship. He could be the first coach to win it. I think the closest they've ever come was getting to the national championship game. I think that was the closest they've ever come. And same with DeBoer at Washington. Like, he has the ability. Now he's taking over from the greatest modern coach in modern college football. So the spotlight's on him. So when you lose to a team like Vandy, maybe at Washington that would be over. I mean, still, they probably wouldn't be thrilled. But at Alabama, they don't like that. I know you can. I know you can testify to that, Jackson. That Alabama doesn't take kindly to losing to Vandy.
I mean, every 10 to 15 years, Vandy has a pop-up season or two, like they did with James Franklin, and now they did last year. But yeah, it is what it is. But so, like, Jackson, I remember hearing around that time. I remember hearing that there was like a division among the players in the locker room, and that there was like something going on with the players, like demanding stuff of Kalen DeBoer and him having to sort of acquiesce to him because he didn't have a full off season with the team and to keep the team together. Was that true, or is that just rumors spread by people that didn't really know?
I think some of it was true, and I think some of it was spread. It was just rumors, honestly.
Because I remember when he first got hired, there was a lot of guys that entered the portal and then all at one time like came out of the portal. So,
like Caleb Downs went to the portal. He was going to stay at Alabama, but it got too much for him to go, you know what, I'm going to Ohio State. Because I don't know what's happening in Tuscaloosa, but I know Columbus is more of a sure thing, so I'm going there. But I think Alabama's going to be fine with Kalen DeBoer, obviously. I mean, we've got an amazing staff on offense and defense. I'm loving what we've got in the receiving core. I love what we have at tight end, especially. And I'm obviously going to make a huge deal about Brody Dalton being at the tight end from transferring from Troy. That's going to be a huge win for the Crimson Tide, because this way it's not all on Brian Williams. It's not all on Isaiah Horton. It's not all on the other guys at receiver.
Do you think that going into year 2 and now that Milrose moved on, that you see more of a shift to the Washington style, DeBoer style offense than it was last year?
Oh, I could see a little bit of that. I think whoever is quarterback after fall camp, because we're going to know who quarterback is by the time we get to week 1 between Ty Simpson and Keelan Russell. I mean, some people are saying Simpson's going to be the starter. Some people are saying Russell.
Call your shot. Who you got?
I think it's going to be Ty Simpson right now.
Okay.
Right now, I'm leaning towards Ty Simpson.
Me too.
All right. Appreciate you.
I will say, though, it's going to be a wild ride in Tuscaloosa. It's going to be a wild ride throughout all the media days, Big 12, SEC, Big 10, and ACC media days. I'm looking forward to what we're going to hear next from each of the coaches in all of college football. But to all of you tuning in on each of the channels, live streaming, tune in Tuesday nights for Wolverines Live with John Diamo and TJ Ronin. Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And the Wolverines College Show with TJ Ronin and Johnny Olden Jr. Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Tune in for Oregon Ducks Live Wednesday nights on Oregon at the Voice College Football. Tune in to Florida State Live 9 p.m. Eastern Time with Matthew Lennox and Sam Moore Monday nights. And tune in to what we have here. Oh, we got Oregon Live, Florida State Live, and Michigan Live. Sometimes I'm just like, oh, well, there we go. But we got a wild lineup all right here.
And if you're ever wondering, well, how do I find out what's airing that day? There's a really easy way to do it now, because you can just check out our website at vocfb.com. and we'll pop that up here right now. But you can actually every single day you can look at. Now there's no shows on the docket today. Obviously, we threw this one on late, but you can see here some of the recent interviews have been placed up here, including the one that we just did with Mikhail Blade on Tuesday night. We had TJ and myself brought on a 4-star recruit Mikhail Blade, which was a really good conversation. He just has a great head on his shoulders. He's coming in and he's helping recruit too. He's not just ready to play. He's actually trying to bring more people over. And he's kind of a big part of the line recruiting that's been happening.
Well,
so there's vocfb.com where you can see what's going on.
Go.
I need to get better at like checking the site more often, but like I'm just not on my computer that often. So I'm going to say right now, we need an app. We need a mobile app version of the website to be able to access the forums, to access the articles and stuff. Like we need an app, John. How do we get this done?
You're talking to somebody who has no I don't get involved with these things anymore. But I will say this: TJ Ronin and Jackson and Matt Zemek and everybody who are working on this. I'm sure an app can be in the future. But I don't have anything to do with that. I host the Tuesday show, and then I do some of these now and then. So that's my answer.
Oh, John writes some great articles, man.
Just pass it along to those that have the ability to. That way, more people can see those articles. More people can we can get more traffic on there. Like I said, I love the site. I'm just not. I turn on my computer to do podcasts. So like if I'm not jumping on a podcast or something like that, my computer's off. So like I need an app. I need a mobile site.
Yeah,
there you go.
Fair
gentlemen.
enough.
Y'all have a good night. Sleep well. It's awesome as always hanging with y'all. And I'll be seeing y'all soon. And check out all these shows on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, and iHeartRadio. Stay tuned for more and leave a rating and a review.
There we go. Thank you so much, Jackson Johnson, as always, and we'll see you soon.
See you soon, gents.
All right. Always great to get Jackson's perspective. One thing about him is that he has this encyclopedic knowledge of dates. And I'm talking about he remembers when like he first called in, the exact date. He remembers like it's wild, the stuff he remembers. I don't know how he does it. Maybe he keeps it all in a notebook. Maybe it's just all in his head. I don't know. But it's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Jackson. We've had him on over at the Maze Madman show. I've been on his show. We did the watch party recently. I really like Jackson. I think he's a good dude. And he runs a really good channel. And like I said, you and TJ, everyone sees the work you guys put in. Jackson is 100% every bit working behind the scenes and promoting not only his channel but everyone else's. So. Go give him a follow, guys, on social media, on YouTube, and check him out.
And he does keep it in his head. Let's go ahead and take. We do have 2 people in the queue, but I'm wondering if they're here. So let's go ahead and see if Keith is around. Keith, are you here?
Yep, I'm here. Go Blue,
Keith
guys.
is here. Woo!
Go Blue, Keith. How's it going?
It's going great. Yeah.
Hope you had a good 4th.
Yes, I did, and can't get them all, can we?
Nope. That's true. And it's been a pretty good run the last couple of weeks. So, Syracuse snuck one in the back door.
Yeah. And I just heard Steve Dace say that he heard a podcast where Sayed and Columbus is not beating out Kindholtz. They're kind of neck and neck, and it just
That's
unremarkable quarterbacking in Columbus.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that it's a closer battle than what everyone thinks it is, but I mean, but I've not heard a single person to say that they think that Keynotes is going to beat out Saiyan.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and I've heard that too from Buckeye shows. That Lincoln Keenholz is giving it a battle. And that doesn't speak well for Julian Saiyan if that's still the case at this point. I welcome Garrison or somebody to come up and tell us why Julian Saiyan is far and away the favorite, but it sounds like it's not just Steve Dace who's saying that. It was Ohio State people who were saying that.
Yeah, and Mark Rogers said, yeah, if you look at his 2 spring games, there's not really anything remarkable about Sayed. So it's kind of there's kind of a bunch of word out there that it's that Sayed's not elevating.
That's rough.
I mean, it'll be
because they
interesting
need
to
him
see what
to.
happens. He's gonna if they start saying and he's running into, like first year roadblocks, he's gonna have a tough time in Ann Arbor this year.
And they open against Texas. That quarterback is going to be tried by fire.
Yep. Sarkisian's going to have something for him. You can bet on that.
Yep.
I mean, you maybe I don't know. Maybe you see Keenholz week 1 just because he's got more experience and maybe has a better grasp of the offense just because of the caliber of opponent that they're getting week 1, and then you see a transition to Saiyan. But I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah,
do you guys remember? Yeah, do you guys remember Darius Clemens?
Yeah,
I do. That's a throwback, a little bit.
Yeah, that was about 21 or 22.
Yep.
We battled Oregon back and forth, and he came and showed up for us for a couple of years, and 5-star, uber talented, and he just couldn't find his way on the field.
Where's he at now?
I think he might have gone back to Oregon, or no?
Like
I
Oregon
think
State. Looks like Oregon State, the Beavers.
Oh, Oregon State. Yeah. Okay. So I guess I was right. Went back to Oregon.
Yeah. No, I mean Clemens is cool. I like him. It was just like you said, it's one of those ones that just couldn't really find his niche here.
Yeah, and what it goes to show is that playing any position in major college football is hard. If it was easy, everybody would do it, right? Yeah. Us 3 could be starting wide receivers for Michigan if it was easy, right?
Right. I mean, they call them skill positions for a reason.
Yeah. And so much of it is in the head too, because you see guys like Darius Clemens and a 4-star, moderate 4-star like Ronnie Brown is beating him out.
Yeah. And that's the way it goes. And that's why it's a thing like you try to project a lot of these high school players and their ceilings, and you see someone like that's why it's so interesting when you have a contrast between players like Calvin Russell and Travis Johnson. Like Travis Johnson, absolutely more polished right now. If we had to put one of the two out on the field tomorrow, it'd be Travis Johnson. Calvin Russell potentially has a higher ceiling, but which one of the two actually has a better chance of reaching their ceiling? That's where it becomes a hard thing to to predict. And based on what I've seen, I would probably tend to lean towards the guys like Travis Johnson, who may have a slightly lower potential ceiling than someone like Russell, but someone who you're a little bit more confident in what they're going to be able to do day one and where sort of their starting point is, than bringing in someone like Calvin Russell or like someone, other receivers that have had a lot of potential and then hoping that they develop to that point.
What you're trying to say is that Johnson has a higher floor and Russell has a higher ceiling.
Yeah, I mean, if we're saying floor means like how ready they are day one on campus, yes.
Yeah.
I don't think they're too far off. I just think Johnson is more polished and game ready right now.
Yeah,
now
let's
that
check
could
the
change
tape.
by
Let's look at the tape
that
because
that could absolutely change by the end of both of them senior season. But based on what we know right now, yeah, that's what I would say. It was like, well, who was the receiver that we were in on right to the very end last season? But it was very much a project. He didn't really have a lot of great tape. It was all measurables and potential, and he ended up not committing to us. But someone in the chat put who it was. The name's escaping me right now. It was right up to early National Signing Day last year. Meadows, thank you. Stallions Express. Meadows. Calvin Russell's the same kind of kid, and that's not in any way a knock on them or anything. It's just you're projecting a little bit more with those kids than you are with guys like Travis Johnson.
Yeah, I mean this is the type of caliber play that you're seeing here from Travis Johnson. And again, just look at that, just going for it, getting the ball. Defender falls over. Love to see that. But it's just like the impact of every play that he has. Here's another one.
Yep.
But it's, you know, and you obviously we watched Calvin Russell's film a couple of times, and I do think that he's an impact player as well. But I do see what you're saying, Kinetic, where Travis might have a little bit more of an upside.
Well, and like I said, I'm not in any way trying to trash Calvin Russell at all. Like, not in the slightest, okay? I think he's a great potential talent wherever he goes. And I'm not trying to be one of those guys that's, he didn't commit to us, so screw him. No, he's a great talent whether he came here or not. But if, again, you watch the tape, and Travis Johnson, we could put him out there this year if we needed to, and he might not be the best receiver on the field, but he would be serviceable. Whereas with Russell, you've really got to develop him.
Yeah.
If I'm having to make a bet and take one or the other, with the state of our wide receiver room the last couple of years, I need the guy that's going to be more of a sure bet.
Yeah. The reason why Turntine went Texas, the reason why Ojo went Texas Tech, the reason why Calvin Russell went Syracuse is that Michigan feels good enough with what they have that they're not willing to match outrageous offers. Allegedly, Ojo was like $5.1 million over 3 years.
Yeah.
I'm seeing I haven't confirmed a number for Calvin Russell at Syracuse, but I'm seeing outrageous numbers for that one, and it's like we're not going to match that when we have Travis Johnson and all this talent this year, next year. It's just, it doesn't make financial sense to you know, but I do think that they're gonna continue to fight for him.
Well, and you also got to look at the market too. So, like, I think that Michigan could go out and outbid anybody on anyone if they wanted to. But the thing is like they're going to identify, you know, maybe 1 to 3 targets in a cycle that they're willing to not get outbid on no matter what. They did that with Bryce. I'm pretty sure they did it with Babalola and or Ty Haywood. They're probably looking at Savion Hyder like that. But you're only going to see that on special cases. And otherwise, you're going to see them take an approach where they're going to determine what they think a kid is worth, and then they're going to go to that point, and they're not going to go past that point, not because they can't, but because it doesn't make sense, because they need to allocate funds to the rest of their roster. They're handling it like a salary cap and having a full-on roster payroll like an NFL team. They're not looking at, you know, a lot of these schools that are promising kids whatever they want and then struggling to try to find the money for it. They're not going to go up to and outbid $5.1 million on an offensive lineman when they just brought in 2 last year They've got 4 already good ones that are not. There's not a huge gap, if much of any at all, between like Malachi Lee and Felix Ojo. There might be a little bit, maybe, but I wouldn't expect it to be that much of a gap. And they're not gonna. So when you have a talent year at a position, then they're probably going to be a little bit more like hesitant to say, you know what, go ahead and go there. We're going to take that 5.1 and we're going to go get these 3 or 4 guys over here that are going to serve us better. You know, it's just like NFL free agency. You don't just go out and spend on all of your cap on one guy.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, that Sean McGee, who, by the way, needs a raise to everybody. Hey, Coach Moore, Ward Manuel, get off your ass.
Right.
Do something.
Keep Sean McGee. Whatever we need to do to keep him, keep him.
Yeah,
I mean,
Sean McGee should be making $1 million a year.
If you want to see the evidence of what a bad contract can do to your team and its future, go look at the Atlanta Falcons giving Kirk Cousins like $400 million, $200 guaranteed last season, just to bench him halfway through the season for a rookie, and now they're stuck with his contract this year, and it's stopping them from signing other players. It's stopping them from even trading him.
You're right.
And Sean McGee's taken that same kind of mindset and approach to NIL, because eventually there will be safeguards and guardrails put in place for NIL. So they're trying to get ahead of it and do things the right way, be upfront and honest and helpful to these recruits and their parents, and not mislead them and not just go wild west on everything.
You're not wrong. I think they're balancing it the best that they can. I was one of the people that was one of the biggest critics of Michigan NIL 2 years ago. I said on this program on Michigan Wolverines Live that heads need to roll because people. I said fire Ward Manuel. You had to elevate your NIL beyond transformational, not transactional, and they, credit to them, they did. So, I give them that. Like, they were able to navigate it, and now with the Ellisons involved, the sky's the limit. And you see it now, like 5-star Babalola, 5-star Bryce Underwood. Hello? Can you imagine, y'all, 5 years ago pulling Bryce Underwood from LSU? It would have been unheard of.
Right. So,
and this continues into this year, and I do think now there's going to be an all-out press for Hyder because that's your 5-star at this point. Technically, does Meadows still have the on-3 5-star? I don't even know if they have that one.
So, okay, real quick. I do want to clear this up because this has been something that's been brought up to me a couple times here recently. On-3 and Rivals. Wait, was it Rivals? Yeah, Rivals just merged, right? Yes. Or got bought out. But here's how it's actually happening. So, On3 and Rivals are still both going to be are active brands. Okay, Rivals is going to be the recruiting side of that company now. On3 is still going to be there, but you're going to see more of the JD Piquel style coverage and personnel on the On3 side. The Rivals side is going to be the high school recruiting side. So what you've seen is On3 has hidden their star ratings because Rivals is their recruiting service. And you haven't seen the Rivals star ratings change yet, but they will, because EJ Holland has confirmed that the On3 rankings team is not changing. So the On3 rankings team, now maybe they pull a couple people from the Rivals one, but it's remaining intact. So I think what you're going to see over the course of the next few months, but really more so going into the 2027 cycle, is you're going to see the On3 methodology show up on the Rivals websites. So a lot of people were thinking that like On3 put theirs behind a paywall and that all we have is the Rivals one. No, they're both still going to be there, but On3 is no longer going to be the recruiting arm of that service.
Yeah, that's interesting, and it's about time, by the way. I think this is one of the most needed improvements in college football and in college athletics. The Rivals rankings are a joke. They have been for years. And I think that on three, I consider a respected source when it comes to recruiting. So
On3's ranking system was way better than Rivals, and you will see that system adopted on the Rivals website. They just haven't had enough time to get that changed over.
Yeah. And that does, by the way, there are a lot of people I like at Rivals. I don't want to say anything against that. I'm just talking specifically about the ranking methodology. We love, friend of the program, Dennis Fithian. I just have to say that. We've got some good relationships over there. But
and it's going to be interesting to see like who gets moved around. Like you got Steve Wiltfong is now under the Rivals banner because he does recruiting. EJ Holland and Ethan McDowell are going to stay on for Rivals now, although they're more under the Wolverine banner. But what happens to guys like Trevor McHugh and Dennis Fithian? Do they get moved over to the analyst side? Do they stay on the recruiting side? We'll see what happens, but it's going to be interesting to see how pieces get moved around between the two sides of the company. But what I do like is that because they're separating sort of the portfolios of each side, you're going to see less. You're going to see fewer cuts for redundancy than you would normally in a merger or acquisition.
For those of you just joining us, we have been on for about 2.5 hours talking about Calvin Russell. We did about an hour of waiting for him to show up at the venue, and then he picks Syracuse. And we have been diving through the decision-making there on why Calvin Russell decided to go Syracuse. We've now moved on to mergers and acquisitions, but I will say this, 11 years, and I've been through 2 myself, mergers and acquisitions, and, personnel are going to change. People there's going to be redundancies that are where they'll need to find another position and then there's going to be there's going to be people that move up. There's going to be people that get promoted. There's going to be people who move around. I mean, it's there's some uncertainty, and they can say what they want, on the boards or whatever. Like there's just straight, nobody fully knows when you're dealing with one of those exactly what's going to happen. And the best advice for anyone who ever has to go through one of those is just be as positive as you can and just embrace change, because there's going to be a lot of change. That's just how it is. A lot of change in mergers and acquisitions.
100%.
Oh, wait, there's a Star Wars question?
John's ears just perked up.
What's the Star Wars question? Let's see.
I don't know. I saw something about Darth Vader and the Unabomber a second ago. I don't know.
Oh, James Earl Jones. Yeah. James Earl Jones went to Michigan. They're talking about Michigan alums. Michael Phelps, yes. Well, technically, I don't think he graduated from Michigan, but he trained at Michigan or something like that. Yeah,
I think he took a few classes too.
Yeah, Darth Vader, James Earl Jones, who still, you can still hear that booming voice when you go to the big house on Saturdays, and he says, "This is the University of Michigan. This is the greatest university in the world." It is beautiful. It is a beautiful thing.
I love randomly sending that sound clip to a friend of mine who is a massive Buckeye fan and also a massive Star Wars fan. He hates me every time.
Yeah, still a voice of legends. And Disney captured his voice to be used for AI Darth Vader in the future. So in the Obi-Wan Kenobi, we're really going into the weeds now, but fuck it. In the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, I think that was the first one that used the AI James Earl Jones Darth Vader voice, and it sounded pretty solid. I gotta say, they did a good job.
To do that, do they have to get permission from his estate to do that?
Oh yeah, he had to sign off on it. and the state got a significant amount of compensation for it.
Good.
Yeah. Folks, I have promised 3 hours. So we are about 2.5 hours in at this point, and then we'll wrap up in about a half an hour. I mean, Keith, what was kind of your initial take on the Calvin Russell situation, and just in general, how you feel about Michigan recruiting the last couple of weeks?
Yes, I was really, really hoping for Russell because Russell reminded me of Braylon Edwards. He's got more meat on his bones, and if you look at his highlight tapes, there were a bunch of plays where he was busting 2 and 3 tackles to be able to score on these long drives, on these long plays.
Yeah.
So that's uncommon. I mean, Plexico Burris was that also for Michigan State. He used to kill us all the time. You get somebody that's big and fast and strong, and they not only can run by you, but they can run through you. So I was really hoping for Jackson. But overall, I have not seen recruiting like this for several years. Jimmy had 1 year he was in his top 5, I remember. I can't remember what year it was, but I think it was before he was chasing those NFL jobs.
2016, I want to say.
Could be, yeah.
He had a really good, I believe 2016 was like a really strong year for us. Let's see how far back it'll let me go.
Yeah. So, yeah, but I feel really good about the recruiting, but I don't get too excited by recruiting because half of all blue chip players don't work out to what you want them to be. And
right.
there's exceptions. Some of those Bama and Georgia classes back in the day,
it was 2017. They were 5th. Yeah.
2017, they were 5th. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the last time that there was a lot of good news coming out of Michigan recruiting, but a lot of it was because Harbaugh was looking for a pro job.
Wait, say it again, but more clearly, please.
We haven't had that good recruiting for the last few years because Harbaugh kept looking for pro jobs.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. That was a continual issue. And, I talked about this in an episode of Michigan Wolverines Live years ago called The Last Dance. And I said, 2023 is going to be the last year, most likely, for Jim Harbaugh, JJ McCarthy, and a lot of these players, and they're going for it all. They're going for a national championship in 2023. Of course, they get it. But I predicted Michigan would win it all, and they did. And and that's because he's and I pointed out. I don't remember if I mentioned the Chargers at the time. I think I mentioned the Raiders, the Bears, a couple other teams. I don't know if the Chargers was in play at that point, but yeah, I mean, it was very obvious. And then when they offered him $18 million a year, they offered him final say over the program like he's an owner. Like, obviously, you're going to go with that when you have better work-life balance. You're going to be in California. I don't blame him for taking that one. But he had been looking the last couple of years. He had been looking. I think he did turn down one as well, though. I think he turned down
Denver. Yeah, Denver.
Yeah.
Denver came in and offered him $20 million, and he turned it down because he was already committed to that 23 season.
Yeah. And good. So at least sometimes he did pick Michigan.
Yeah, John, it looks like Keegan wants to come in.
Yeah, let's go ahead and bring Keegan up.
Hey,
if you're
John,
ready, Keegan, let's go ahead and do that.
Real quick, can I make a plea to the chat real quick before we move on to another topic?
Yeah, go ahead, Kinetic.
For anyone in the chat and in the community that also plays the college football video game,
Yeah.
I need everybody. If you show the thing that I just put on there, John.
Sure. Okay.
This is a screenshot of the current of one of the content creator network guys of the Bryce Underwood in-game model.
Okay.
And I have it confirmed for me from one of the content creators that has the ear of EA Sports that he has made them aware of this and that they might change it. But if we can get everyone to go tweet at EA, at Scott O'Gallagher, one of the devs, and keep it respectful, do not harass them, but let them know that they need to change this. These skill caps on Bryce Underwood are nuts. What that means is that he cannot improve in those skills higher than those skill caps, and this is an atrocity for Bryce Underwood to have skill caps like this. It caps him at an 88 overall for his entire career. So we need to get them to change this.
What?
And I have it on good authority from a content creator with the ear of EA that if enough people were to make a big enough stink of this, they will change it in one of the post release patches. So let's start a movement on Twitter and get this fixed because this is nuts.
I have a feeling that if Bryce Underwood wins a Heisman, they are gonna overlook this whatever cap situation. Like I don't think if Bryce Underwood wins a Heisman or Michigan wins a national title with Bryce that they're gonna keep him at 88. I don't believe that.
Yeah, so we need to get all of those gray squares, all those grayed out squares he can't move farther than the gray squares on those stat categories. So he's already almost capped out from the beginning. That needs to change. It needs to be fixed. Let EA know. Let Scott O'Gallagher know. Don't do it in a mean way. Don't harass him, but provide the feedback that this is nuts.
And I know these players, I know that some people probably think this topic isn't, but actually the players do care about this stuff. So
Yeah.
like, that's why I think it's valid and it's something worth looking at. All right. I want to see what I want to see what Keegan Imhoff has to say about the news tonight that Calvin Russell has committed to Syracuse and how that will impact the class, which has been very successful up to this point in recruiting. Keegan, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. Thanks for taking my call. Yeah, so I wanted Calvin Russell really bad. And then when I heard his announcement was going to be on Instagram, I followed him on Instagram and I saw his bio. And his bio is like, I'm that 5-star, that All-American, that state champion guy. And I was like, I don't know if I really like that. And then I know this is a total homer take, so I get it. Like, I would have been happy if we got him. But, like, we have a really good locker room.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And then when he was late to the announcement and then it was prolonged for an hour, I was like, man, this is not.
It was feeling like Syracuse once that was happening.
I didn't know it was Syracuse, but I noticed. I just felt like this isn't the type of guy that you want in our locker room.
Right.
So, and that's not like a discredit to him. Like, he could go anywhere and be successful, right? So it's not to diminish what he is as a player, but we have a great locker room and that's what we got going for us. So, like, I realized he could flip, and right now I don't want him back. Like, I don't want us to try to flip him. I don't think that it's not like a shot at his character, but like in the locker room, like, we're good. So
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, Keegan. I think that's what John was saying earlier, that something kind of felt off, and I can't say I didn't think it either. I mean, you look at you look at the players that we've gotten, even the players that we've recruited that have just the ones alone that have been on the Voice of College Football as
Yeah.
for interviews over on Maze Madman, who shout out Maze Madman, killing it with the interviews right now.
Yeah.
But you look at the maturity and the personality of each of these players, and you can see a common theme and common thread of the type of person that Michigan recruits. And there always was an element of, I'm not sure Calvin Russell really fits that. Like, could we make it fit? Probably. Like, he wasn't so far out of line with the rest of them that it couldn't work, but it also didn't feel like a perfect fit like it does when you hear Andrew Marsh and Jamar Browder and Mikhail Blade talk. Like, it just, there was something that wasn't quite the right fit.
Yeah, and you can take a couple like dogs like that. That's actually good for your team, but you can't have your team like overwhelmed by like that cockiness. Like you want confidence, but you don't want like our whole slogan for years has been the team, the team, the team. And all due respect for his talents, but like I don't think that you want somebody like that because he's not about that. He's not about that life. He like even if you get him, he might transfer. If he's not doing well in basketball, he might transfer. That was the first like red flag for me is like the basketball thing. Like we had the offer for him, and like I appreciate Dusty May for stepping in there, but like what happens if he's not successful at basketball, and then you're like floating all this money to him, and then he just transfers because he's not doing well at basketball. It's just a really fragile um, player to have on your team, and I didn't like it, and like I really hope we don't try to flip him. I hope it's over with, and he's
Well,
happy in Syracuse or Miami or Oregon or
I,
wherever he
I
ends
I
up.
think I think they're definitely going to keep trying to flip him, but I don't think they're going to go out of overboard with the NIL offers. I think that they will keep in touch in case things sour for him with Syracuse. But I don't disagree with you. Like I said, I think they could make it work, but I understand what you're saying. And to clarify, nobody's talking bad about the kid. Nobody's being salty about him choosing another school. This is something that I've had conversations with other people about previously, and I still hoped we got him, but I understood that everybody that I've talked to sort of felt there was a little bit of a difference, like I said, between him and a lot of the guys that we would go after when you listen to his interviews, when you look at his social media. And again, I brought this up before. I said this last year when when the talk of us going after Bryce first started. I said I wasn't sure because based on what I had seen, I thought he was the same kind of guy. Some of the stuff I had seen on social media, the stuff I had seen on the interview that he did with Crane and Company, where he took a shot at Michigan, stuff like that, made me think the same about him. And I was wrong. And when I saw that I was wrong, I came on and said it before he ever committed. I said that I was wrong on that. So we don't know Calvin Russell. We don't know that he might be that maybe we're wrong on him as well, and we're judging the book by the cover that we see on social media. But that's also all we see right now. So trust the coaches. If they think they can make it work with him here, they'll continue going after him and try to flip him. And if they don't, I trust them to maintain the culture in the locker room.
Yeah, I agree with that. These guys are really young, so like I agree with that. But this seems more like a burned bridge for me. So
Yeah.
I would have to disagree with that. It seems like a burned bridge, and in the past, if you're going off of like analysis from past recruiting, like when you burn a bridge with Michigan, it's over. So uh, I wouldn't expect them to follow up on like it's not like we won't follow up on like the Javion Osborns and whoever, but this seems like a burned bridge to me.
Yeah. I will say
TJ,
that EJ Holland tweeted about 40 minutes ago that Travis Johnson is a better wide receiver right now. We've been saying that off and
Oh yeah.
on today, all of the show. But EJ Holland talking about it both yesterday and today, that Michigan got an immediate impact playmaker with Travis Johnson. And I agree with him. And I think Kinetic, you were saying it too earlier. Like it just seems like there's more immediate upside with and again, I know this can sound like sour grapes because Michigan didn't get Russell, but I think that we were saying that this was being said before.
We said it on here.
Yeah,
you and TJ have talked about it. TJ and I talked about it. Maze, me, and Maniac have talked about it. I think that if both Travis Johnson and Calvin Russell reach the height of their potential, like all maxed out their potential, Calvin Russell probably ends up being the more prolific receiver. But the safer bet, if you were going to put money on it, if there were odds on either one reaching their maximum potential, I think the odds of Travis Johnson reaching his maximum potential are a little bit better than Calvin Russell meeting his maximum potential.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not in any way trying to say the kid is bad. I'm not having sour grapes. I wish him the best. I'm happy with what we had, whether we got him or not. I'm just giving my analysis and my thoughts on him, and it's been consistent even before today and when we were analyzing him, and a lot of us thought we were getting him. My thoughts on him were the same.
Keegan, I think we got to remember, I think he's 16 years old. We don't know how big of a bag was thrown at him. Like Ojo got that big bag thrown at him. How do you say no to that? These kids are making these decisions, and Fran Brown is recognized as a great offensive mind. And he's got to be impressive when you go talk to him. So this 16-year-old kid made a 16-year-old kid decision. I don't necessarily see as burning any bridges here or Georgia or wherever else, whoever else wanted him. I think the kid is still in pretty good shape. And to your point, Kinetics, the beauty of getting them both would have been in 26, we could have gotten a good package out of Jackson, and in 27 we could have gotten a great package out of Russell. So if he's got a little more development to do, then he's going to be better for you later in his second and his third years.
And you never know what's going to happen. I mean, a lot can happen between now and National Signing Day. A lot can happen with the transfer portal after the 26th season. You never know, man. And I don't know if there's a burned bridge. Maybe there was. Maybe there wasn't. I mean, we all thought that there was a burned bridge with Nate Marshall, and then he came back. My thoughts on it are: wish him well, maintain a friendly relationship with him, and if things have changed down the road, maybe revisit that. After a year or two goes by, and if he's not happy at Syracuse or whatever the case is. But I think we're going to be just fine. I mean, I think the staff is happy with the three that we got for this class. And if they're really not, there's still a transfer portal come December after the season's over for that same class that they can bring in a fourth guy. And I think that once there's tape on Chip Lindsey's offense and on Bryce Underwood, I think you're going to see a lot more wide receivers that want to come play for Michigan. So I'm not worried at all, and I hope the kid succeeds, even if he stays at Syracuse his entire college career.
Yeah, that was a really good point, Keith. I appreciate you keeping me accountable. But to be honest with you, like I would rather us try to see use that money to flip a linebacker. So because we're pretty good at receiver right now.
Kind of light at linebacker.
Yeah, and another indicator that could happen is they took like a playmaker 3-star linebacker that could play other positions, and so they want that athleticism and playmaking ability, but they want that lock at linebacker. So I think there's a holdout, and that's why, like in the chats, I've been like telling people to give Brian John Marie time. Like I think that's to be expected at this point that they're going to try to flip a linebacker, maybe go for Abrams, but I would like them to try to flip a linebacker late in the class. But yeah, that was good, Keith. Yeah, nothing against the young man. Great player. I would have loved to have got him, but I'm happy either way.
You make
Yeah,
a good point, Keegan, about we don't want to get a bunch of prima donnas on the team and mess up the locker room. And
absolutely.
otherwise, we end up like Ohio State,
Absolutely,
Right.
we do.
True.
and we're
We don't
and
want
we're
that.
soft as hell. And it even bugs me when we say like Bryce Underwood, who got to ride or die with Bryce Underwood. It kind of bugs me because that goes against the team. You know,
Yeah.
no player is bigger than the team. No coach is bigger than the team.
Yep.
So yeah, it is. I want that the Bo Schembechler team
Yeah.
culture in the locker room, and so yeah, if we get too many of these prima donnas, yeah, it's a problem. But I think with everybody that's there, I don't remember Braylon Edwards being. Braylon Edwards was the class athlete of the team back then, but I think I think Michigan's culture kept him down so that he wasn't this big diva. I think Michigan culture kind of keeps that in check.
For the
Yeah.
most part, yeah.
Bryce never has seemed to me to be a diva. I think he's talented. He knows he's talented, but Coach Moore has talked about this in interviews. Bryce is first one in, last one out type of person, and that's the way that he handles his business. Coach Moore has said on multiple interviews like that he's impressed by it, and it's that like Michael Jordan-esque, that Tom Brady-esque drive to just be the best at all times.
Did you hear that?
Bryce has
Did you
that.
hear that he's getting up to 4 receivers to come with him every night to the practice center? His coaches can't be there, but he can be there with his receivers, and he's thrown to 3 or 4 receivers every
Yeah.
night. They're running full route trees, and I think they're actually running the playbook like a 7-on-7 kind of situation.
I heard it was. I heard it wasn't at night. I heard he was getting guys up for 5 a.m. practices.
That's what I was. That's yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
think you're
what I
right.
was-
I think you're right. I missed that detail. Like, it might be both too.
And you know what? It may be both. Maybe he's because I know there's some guys that kind of balked at the 5 a.m. practices. So maybe he's running out there in the morning with some guys and then in the evening with other guys. But he's putting in the work. And 100%, I was wrong last year when I thought that about Bryce. Like I based that on what I saw in the Crane and Company interview and some of the things I saw on social media. When I look deeper beyond the social media of a then 16-year-old and that one interview where maybe he was feeling some type of way because he felt disrespected that Jim Harbaugh didn't really recruit him that hard. I based my opinion based on what I had seen at that time, but the more I looked into it, I saw what Sharon Moore has been talking about and what everybody has been raving about from him, and I changed my mind. And to be clear, I didn't change my mind after he flipped his commitment. It was about a week and a half, 2 weeks before he flipped his commitment. I came on the shows and said, "Hey, I was wrong. I'd love it if we got the kid."
Yeah.
Yeah, Bryce is a little bit of a diva, but he's also like really young. So, for example, you have people like Samaj Morgan. Like I was like that in high school. I was a receiver. I was very cocky. I was a good person. So like with Bryce Underwood, like you still have that good person that you can like evaluate that and you can see that, but you still have the maturity that it takes time. So that's just Bryce is young, but he's going to get there. I don't know if Calvin Russell's going to get there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. We'll have to watch that closely. I do want to do two things. We have a super chat, and then also we'll bring Bull back up because we got 10 minutes to go, and we'll get Bull's final thoughts on everything. But lone omnipotence with the that's a big word for Elmo. $4.99. Appreciate you guys. Keep up the good work, fellas. Thank you so much, and appreciate that contribution. Let's bring back up the Bull.
What up, no?
What up, bro?
Yo,
No shirt
this is the
zone.
first. I don't know if people realize this, but I think this is the first for all Michigan Nation seeing Keegan. I don't think
It's
we've ever
happened
seen.
It's a big
before.
deal.
It's
I
just
think maybe once. Is it once?
it's not very common.
Yeah. All right. Cool. No, I mean, there's some chats going on here. I see this TY guy in the chat doesn't really know what's going on. That's okay. Hey, I think at the end of the day, it's Michigan football, right? So we have a known formula that works, and it's been working for a long time. And I think wide receiver, especially, is for us a premium dollar position until proven otherwise, right?
Yeah.
I think John is talking about it, a lot, and as well as
Right.
Kinetic and probably everyone else, that until you see the results on the field, till everyone else that's pushing a certain narrative out there, let's just call it menace to sports or whatnot, pushes this narrative out there, okay? We don't know what Chip Lindsey's offense is. We just don't until we see it. And then people will catch on board. But until that point, wide receivers especially will expect money up front from us. That's just a given. And they will expect playing
Sure.
time. And for us, I think for Michigan, at a certain extent, especially in this case, I think with Kelvin Russell it's a little different because it involves basketball. So now you have to include money, playing time at football as well as basketball playing time, which, to be honest with you, well, I didn't think was going to happen. And
Yeah.
I said that
At
before. I don't think
Michigan,
it
we
was,
don't do that. We meritocracy for the most
yeah,
part, with some exceptions. There's been some promises, but for the most part, it is a meritocracy, and you've got to beat the other guy in camp on Saturdays. I do want to address though the Brody Jennings thing that he mentioned, because
yeah,
Brody Jennings is something that we've been saying. We've been following this for quite some time, and we've been kind of thinking that Jennings was going to flip. And just due to the family situation he's dealing with, he wants to stay closer to home. I think we can all respect that.
exactly.
Dorian Barney is a massive pickup to compensate for that.
Yeah,
4-star cornerback out of Georgia. Really good talent there. So you win some, you lose some, as you can see right here.
Yeah, guys, listen, we're not going to put out his personal information. It's out there if you really want to search up what happened with Brody Jennings and his family. But he had something happen. Let's not give him any grief for flipping.
Yeah.
It's something that's been known for months. It was just a question of when and where. Wish him the best and hope that he's doing okay with what he's going through. It's a family issue. It's a staying closer to home because of the issue type of thing.
Yeah,
Don't go on social media giving him any kind of grief for the flip, guys.
yeah, and remember, these are kids, and like John says, we win some, we lose some. A big draw to get Bryce here was to come home and be close to family.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, exactly, Keith. Sometimes being close to home is something that people want to do, and what do you like? Literally, I mean, as great as Ann Arbor is, and I do think that Michigan sets you up for success more than a lot of other universities especially outside of football too. Like, we look at who's gone into the NFL, and it's the most NFL talent out of any university, or at least it's up there. But then you also have the off the field like, obviously Carter Meadows wants to go to the Ross School of Business, one of the best business universities in the United States of America. ranked in the top 10 consistently. And so you look at the largest alumni network, you look at these things. So like that's the case. But sometimes the allure of being at home or being near home, especially if you're very family oriented, it makes sense.
And listen, just because he has a family issue and he wants to stay close to home doesn't mean he needs to go to the closest college to him. Florida, regardless of which Florida school it is much closer to home than Michigan.
Yeah, when you go through a family tragedy at that age, your life can be flipped upside down overnight. And really at any age, but especially at that age where you're making major life decisions. So, yeah, and I think it's interesting that they took someone in the same range. You could maybe even say the same like NIL range. So it makes me wonder, like, if that was strategically um, done so that they make a move at a higher ranked cornerback down the road, and we've got a guy in our sights. So it just makes me wonder.
Well, you bring up a good point. It almost makes you wonder if Michigan didn't coordinate with Brody on when to do the flip, because it happened literally within a couple hours of each other, him flipping and us getting Dorian Barney.
Yeah.
So, and that further, I think, shows that Michigan understands. They've been in communication with him. He probably did everything the right way, and there's no burned bridges there. And who knows, a couple years down the road, like I said earlier, you never know what could happen. Maybe we see Brody Jennings in maize and blue eventually. Maybe not, but don't give the kid any grief. He did it. I think everything points to he did it the right way and for the right reasons.
And I think that points to Michigan recruiting in the grand scope of things is similar to last year with the Jalen Williams scenario, right? Because it was what Jalen Williams and Nate Marshall, right? Those two were flips. Then we flipped Nate Marshall back, but Jalen Williams was one of them. Was you do things the right way. We just communicate. That's all we want. If you're going to go somewhere else, if you're going to take unnecessary visits, if you're going to go unofficial or official visits somewhere else, but you don't want to say anything, at least let us know. We'll move forward. Like let's act accordingly. That's all. Like it's a fluid thing. It is what it is. It's just recruiting, right? 16, 17-year-olds. Y'all are young. You want money. Y'all want the best scenario. Totally get that. Just do what you got to do. Communicate that to the best of your ability, hopefully. Oh, and we'll just go different areas. And luckily, I think you said for Jennings there, he obviously let us know that. We then decided to move forward in a different direction into other avenues. And I think right now, okay, I agree. Barney, I think, is a slightly better upgrade to Jennings. That's great. But then we're also looking at bigger sites to Devon Benjamin, who's a top cornerback in the country. So we're looking forward to that. We'll see how that goes. But I think at the end of the day, offense to Michigan is somewhat of a premium, except when it comes to O-line, and maybe running back and other positions. Hopefully we get Hyder. Let's just hope for that, because hey, we know for today especially, you could get insider info. You could say, "Yo, I got info saying he's silent or he's going or whatever." We don't know until it's on paper, until it's January, right? Till it's January, the day of I believe February is when they sign their official contracts or their letters of intent or whatever you want to call it. I don't even know if they do that now because it totally changed. But you never know. So until after January, honestly, till it's really official. So you got to keep recruiting the kids that you want. If it's a premium position, then you got to pony up or not, right? At the end of the day, that's what you got to do. You either got to pony up the money or playing time or whatever. And but at the end of the day, I think we got a great wide receiver class. With what we got here, I think we got a Travis Johnson, phenomenal player, right? Jalen Pyle, I'm sorry, Jalen Pyle for the school he plays for and everything. exceptional for what he does
Bro, he's going to
at
be
his
so good in
position.
the slot for us.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's underrated just because of the competition he faces with the private schools in the Catholic League, I believe, in his
Yeah, but go
state.
watch
But
any of the what do they
yeah,
call them that the kids get invited to, the the special games,
yeah,
the branded games for high
yeah, like
schoolers.
7-on-7s or something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
he shows out at literally every single one. Like it's insane. And I mean, watch him. Like Mays likes to call him head tapping Jalen Powell because there's so many clips of him going up for grabs and he'll like tap the helmet of his opponent as he's jumping up to get the ball. It's hilarious. Dude is so talented, it's
yeah,
nuts. And he's through and through a Michigan man already.
yeah. And
Um,
I think you guys see that
folks,
just with the 4 stars and 5 stars, right?
I am getting a report from a Syracuse media member, Jack Knight, who covers Syracuse sports for the orangefizz.com, that Calvin Russell is reportedly going to be making $4.3 million over 3
Yeah,
years. That's $1.43 million a year.
yeah,
And as you know, that can always go up
yeah.
in the second year. So, that's probably pretty locked. I don't really see Michigan willing to counter that.
No, I
And
mean
if you
Don't.
think
it's
about
just like
that,
what happened with Meadows last year. Like they're not going to go
exactly.
above a certain level for what they view as a project receiver who's got crazy potential,
Yeah.
but it's still potential.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
That was what last year happened to Meadows, right? The receiver who then he go to LSU. Eventually, he went to Alabama,
Yep.
Which we'll see if he plays this year. But that's what it is, right?
Yeah, same
This is a
thing.
top. Well, you got. I mean, people got to understand the chat. Spread the word out. Nonetheless, running back, wide receiver, quarterback. Those are the three positions, man, that you either have to show results or you gotta show the money or playing time. Those are the three things, right? You gotta show these kids one of those three, and more than likely two to three, to get them. And Meadows was the same way last year. We thought we had a good chance late. It wasn't a great chance, but it was a decent chance,
Guys, just a
especially
quick
with the
heads up.
money.
Garrison's in the chat now.
Uh-oh, here
Oh,
we go. Here we
He
go.
is?
Logic.
Garrison's gonna like what I heard today. On three, it wasn't JD Piquel, but it was one of the other regular guys that come on when he's not on. And he brought somebody in from the West Coast, and I don't remember his name, but he brought somebody in from his West Coast. And this guy said Hyder's final two right now are between Ohio State and Georgia. And if that guy knows something that we don't know about, that's the first I ever heard of that. But if that's Hyder's final two, we could miss out on another one. I'd hate to see it happen because Hyder's the guy I wanted the most.
Yeah.
But that was disturbing that I heard that today. Worrisome.
I think that's just them trying to spread rumors. Everything I've heard on Hyder, I don't think he'd be a good fit for Athens, for Georgia.
Yeah.
He's a small town kid. He doesn't want the big city bustle. He doesn't want that's why he likes Ann Arbor and why he likes Tennessee. Tennessee's a little bit bigger than Ann Arbor as far as Chattanooga, but it's also slightly closer to home and in the Appalachian Mountains area. But he has such an affinity for Ann Arbor because of the city and the small town feel. I don't think he's going to Georgia, and I don't think Michigan's going to, just like with Bryce, I don't think they're going to lose him because of NIL.
Yeah.
So
I just don't see him at Ohio State either. Just doesn't seem like the right fit. Y'all, we are at the 3-hour mark now.
Knoxville, not Chattanooga. I'm sorry.
We have stretched a Calvin Russell commitment show to 3 hours thanks to your contributions. But I think it's time for final thoughts and where could people find you? Let's start with Kinetic because you've been rolling with me here, and we do appreciate that. Give us your final thought and anything you wanted to promo.
Final thoughts. Just like I said, I think we're in a really good spot. Trust the coaches; they really know what they're doing. Sharon Moore's the guy. I've been saying it for a year now. He's the guy. Give him time. He knows what we're doing. So trust the coaches as far as recruiting goes. As always, you can find me on all social media platforms at Kinetic615. You can find me over on the Monday nights with the Maze Madman and the Boxing Maniac. Just recently, I started doing a gaming / sports channel with our buddy Lichamax. It's called The Gamer Sideline. You can check out everything on that channel as well. And also, I've mentioned before, with the new game coming out, anybody that's interested in doing like a viewer league, a content creator league with our community, shoot me a message on X if you're interested. I've gotten some people that have mentioned it, but I don't know that I would say it's enough interest to actually run one. So if you are interested with the new game, if you're getting it on PS5 or Xbox and want to play with a bunch of people from the community, give me a shout. Let me know.
Well,
Also,
Kinetic, always great to see you, man.
Also, this next week, I'm going to start promoting it heavily. The week after next, I've got the signed Micah Kapana jersey that Micah and Kyoki sent me to raise money for my GoFundMe.
Nice.
I will be doing an auction across shows that week and on social media. So you can put in bids in the chats during the shows. You can put in, you can message me directly on X or Discord at Kinetic615, and I'll keep everyone posted on the current highest bid. It'll start on the Maze Madman show. It'll go across all the other shows that week, including I'll be on Darren Talks Ball that week as well. And then it will end the following Monday with Maze Madman. Winner gets the jersey, and it's signed by Micah. It'll be authenticated by Micah and Kyoki. So
nice.
Keep an eye out for that.
That sounds like a great thing there to auction and be part of. So looking forward to hearing more about that. Kinetic, go blue, and we'll see you next time. Okay.
Yes, sir. Go blue. Thank you.
Go
All
blue.
right, Keith, you're up.
Okay, good. A little disappointing news and a sea of awesome news. So like Kinetic says, let's support our coaches. Keegan, Michigan is trying to flip from some school, I forget. He was either a 4 or maybe even a 5-star linebacker. So they're already in the works on that. Although we just need depth, because I believe our starting 2 linebackers are number 1 in the nation or number 1 in the Big Ten. I think they might be number 1 in the nation.
Agreed, Keith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think Michigan's in good shape, and I think our number 1 receiver this year is still going to be Donovan McCulley.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So let's get these experienced guys on the field and put Bryce in a good position to exceed, and see how far we can go. I think the sky's the limit for as much talent as we're bringing in through the portal and through the recruiting.
Yeah. Let's see how we go, and we'll be with you every step of the way to break it all down.
Yeah. Go blue. Great show, John.
Thanks, Keith. Go blue. All right. Let's go Keegan for final thought next.
Yeah, the portal's a good point. You want to do it in recruiting because it's less expensive. You keep your culture. But the portal's a good point. And yeah, the linebacker thing, we're gonna get somebody. It'll be either a top 150 guy or we'll flip somebody. So like even better. So it'll happen. Just know that, like, don't be discouraged about the class, because we had aspirations to go higher than where we're at right now and where we're projected to be. But like, be encouraged that that money doesn't just disappear. Like, it's going to be reallocated. So it's just more, and we've got like 6 months to go. So
Yeah.
5 months to go. So it's not a total loss. I would rather get the right people because you're still spending the same money. So it's the money isn't just going to disappear. We're going to get good people. We're going to have a great class. So that's where I'm at, guys. I appreciate you doing this call-in show, John, and go blue.
Go blue, Keegan. And he's right. I mean, it is easier to go through recruiting than the portal.
Agreed.
But listen, listen, Michigan has a top 10 class. Everything's still on the up. You're going to drop some of these. Does it sting more because it's a 5-star and it would be nice to have a 5-star? Yeah, obviously. But that's why I think Heider's very important, and why I think they're going to get him. I think there's a reason that's probably part of the reason that they weren't willing to go up to 4.3 to counter Syracuse, saving some money for Savion, which is our most important piece. So Bull, what's your final thought for us?
I think at the end of the day, I just want to. I bought this, so I just want to showcase that.
Nice.
But no, I think at the end of the day, Michigan football is in a great place. I think we're going to continue to recruit at a high level, and wide receiver obviously is a premium position, like you said, 4.3 million, similar to medals from last year. From when we were trying to pull them from LSU, eventually went to Alabama. It's the high premium position to try to get. So you got to allocate a lot of money to that because we don't have the proven commodity of the wide receiver. So I think going forward, we're still in a good place. I think the aspirations of a top 5 class dip, right, because of this. I think it's now just top 10, which is fine. As long as you're in the top 10 every year, you have a shot at just reloading. Okay, that means you're not taking a huge dip. You're getting players at top positions with good height and weight that don't have too much of a long turnaround. It's very quick, right? You can hopefully put 1 year, 2 years in them. Boom, they turn around quickly, just based on their skill, their height, their weight. So I feel great about us going forward. I think especially this year from last year, a lot more height at the wide receiver position with Pyle, with Johnson, and then what was the third one again?
Pyle, Johnson, and Robinson.
Robinson. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Very, very well. I think very high floor, possible high ceiling recruits. To combat with our low height, I think this year, so I think going forward, we're adding height, we're adding skill at those positions. And I think going forward, I think we're doing great. I think this year especially, and I said myself, I was like, I need more focus on the D line. I think last year we focused a lot on the O line as well as quarterback. That paid off in dividends. We also got a good secondary out of that too with safeties and cornerbacks. So I think this year, crush the D line. We may just get even more with Deuce Gerald's and Bulwer, hopefully.
Yeah, still
So
some left on the board.
exactly. So D line looks huge. O line looks stable. Quarterback looks great. Hopefully Lamar can crush some late stuff here. Other than that, we're pretty good. We're good across the board. I think. We just got to clean up a few things. I think we're great. Top 10 class, and I think that's all you want out of your program at the end of the day. Top 10 recruiting, because then that leads to hopefully reloading, and then playoffs every year. And I think Sharon Moore, with the schedule, especially we have this year, I think is going to crush it. So I'm feeling great, man. Go blue.
Go blue, Bull. Have a great night.
You too.
Wow, what a show. Despite the news, I think just everybody coming together, hanging out the day after the 4th of July what a recruiting class Michigan has compiled. One thing I'm just going to ask everyone to do is understand that, you know, Calvin Russell, let's not jump to conclusions about attitude, or let's not jump to conclusions about anything except what we know. What we know is that Calvin Russell had a great relationship with Fran Brown. Fran Brown has been recruiting very well, especially for Syracuse. They had a good season last year. And what we understand is that Syracuse will allow him to play both sports. He has friends at Syracuse, and we do know from a Syracuse media source that it's an NIL chunk in the 4.3 million range. Those are all very valid reasons. I mean, we can say what we want about it, but you know, this is a player who made a decision for his future, and you got to respect that. If nothing else, I will say that the class that we have, like Kinetic said, the wide receiver class with Jalen Pyle, with Travis Johnson, with Robinson, that's a really good class. And remember, folks, Bryce hasn't thrown a pass yet in a real game. Imagine what's going to happen when Bryce Underwood starts balling out and throwing to McCauley, to Andrew Marsh, to Samaj Morgan. Well, we'll see. To Channing Goodwin, right? And then when these players come on in, Jamar Browder. Let's not forget about Jamar Browder. I mean, there is some massive wide receiver talent on this team. You've got Soup Campbell helping out with the wide receiver coaching. You've got a significant upgrade in offensive coordinator. Imagine the fact that Michigan secured these is impressive because there's no film to back it up yet. 2024 was a disaster in the pass game. Everybody agrees with that. It was a disaster in the pass game, aside from Colston Loveland when he was healthy. So the fact that Michigan has pulled this off is impressive as hell. And if this continues, then next season, I think a 5-star wide receiver is possible. So let's just remember that. There's also the possibility of flipping players. There's the possibility of transfer portal if we need it. So I think everything's going to be fine. And so from there, I want to remind everybody about our shows. So Michigan Wolverines Live is our next show. It's on a special night again. I'm traveling again, so we're doing it a day early, 8 p.m. Eastern on Monday night. So circle your calendar, Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Due to my business travel, going to a place called Chicago, and it's going to be a great time. Never been. First time in Chicago. It's going to be exciting. So we're moving it back a day early so I can still host. And then the Michigan Call-In Show Live, which is every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern with TJ and TJ Ronin and Johnny Olden Jr. I did see TJ make a comment here somewhere, and it's like way up now, but I saw it. And so TJ was hanging out in the chat for a bit. Yeah, there it is. Well, shit. I'm assuming he was talking about the NIL package or the overall commitment. But in any event, TJ will be joining me again Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern for a special night of Michigan Wolverines Live. That does it for me. I think we have successfully put this to bed, and here we go. So, folks, we'll see you Monday night. We're going to wrap this up with a message from Mark Rogers, voice of college football, about the importance of the Amazon link. Use the Amazon link. You might as well. If you're going on Amazon anyway, you might as well use the link. Then Mark Rogers, who runs this whole network, gets a couple of bucks. What's wrong with that? here we go. Follow me on Twix at John D'Adamo. And until next time, go blue, and we'll see you soon.
You can make a difference here at the Voice of College Football. Use the Amazon link. Financially contribute to the Voice of College Football without spending a penny. Same shopping experience. It's easy. Go to any video on any channel. Go to the description section and grab the link right next to the capital letters that say Amazon. Use that link, and Amazon will instantaneously convert to your account, settings, history, everything intact, just like whatever link you use right now. No difference. Pay no attention to the product that you see right there. Just go search what you want. Don't forget the Amazon link. Thank you for your support. Sincerely, the Voice of College Football.